too exhausted, I needed the energy. Needed to pick me up, I'm in your movie, but this is my cinema. I got the power, I'm built to devour anyone coming against me a tower. I don't care for the pressure, some of y'all leaving here in a stretcher. Took my time to go and get better, I was reading in the red letters. Ay, hit me with your best shot, I got time today. Feeling like a matador with that Red Bull, oh yeah. No, you can't stop me, I'm running my own play. For the game win, I came to pin anything that gets in my way. Been here, done that, you all know what we came for. Been here, done that, you all know what we came for. Energy, 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 I need that energy, energy. Energy, 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 I need that. Been here, done that, you all know what we came for. Been here, done that, you all know what we came for. Energy, 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 I need that energy, energy. Energy, 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 I need that energy, energy. Been here, we done that, we done that. You all know what we came for, you all know what we came for. We been here, we done that, we done that. Energy, 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 I need that energy, energy. I'm in the game like EA, been in my prime since pre-K. Shooting my shot from long range, going over heads like a toupee. Treat every day like payday, y'all been living so mundane. My work week is Sunday to oh wait, that's every day. Putting in overtime, punching the clock, I'ma get what's mine. While everyone's sleeping, I'm living my dreams. I got a calling that's so divine. Lord, take the wheel like 10 and 2. I'm losing energy, I'm overdue. I've been on the top ropes, hitting my pros. Watch me hit the power move. Been here, done that, you all know what we came for. Been here, done that, you all know what we came for. Energy, 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 I need that energy, energy. Energy, 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 I need that. Been here, done that, you all know what we came for. Been here, done that, you all know what we came for. Energy, 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 I need that energy, energy. Energy, 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 I need that energy, energy. Been here, we done that, we done that. You all know what we came for, you all know what we came for. We been here, we done that, we done that. Energy, energy, energy.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back from the break. I'm Spaceman, and it's time to get into Stage 2 of the North American Elite Series for the Call of Duty season. Again, this has been a fun one. We went through Europe earlier, now we get into Day 3, and we just spent last week figuring out what these teams actually mean and how they all got here. And now, it's just time to play some good old-fashioned Call of Duty. For me to do that, I had to bring in my co-caster, Dream Crazy. Welcome into the broadcast. It's good to see you again. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm excited. If it's going to be like what we had today, oh boy, man, it's a must win for the teams that we got. And I tell you what, I'm excited, Sean.
Yeah. You ready for it? You ready to see the schedule? Oh, let's just take a look at the schedule. I got like so much hype, and then here comes the schedule. So here we go. Ultra Academy versus Sucre's Bakery kicked off the day for Europe. Then we followed our transaction through to Vengeance in Sucre's Bakery yet again. Sucre's Bakery went 1 for 2 in that, but overall, not a bad day of Europe. Now we move to North America. It's Stallions versus Strike X, and then the final match of the night on the mainstream will be Ultra Academy versus UYU. So we rounded out with Ultra pretty much all of today. But Ellen, talk to me about the matchups we had earlier for Europe and how they might, dictate as we take a look at the standings for North America, because both these regions tend to have differences when it comes to the amount of roster changes they make.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. And obviously, what's important, what these teams are thinking about is those top 4 spots. Top 4 secure you for Stage 3. So, as we get into the series today, Stallions and Strike X for NA, what we got coming up next, this is a must win for both teams, because you see Strike X at the bottom in 8th, sitting at a 1-3 record with a 5-11 win map loss ratio, and then at 6th place for Stallions. So, like, the swing of the tides for the game right now is so important, because regardless if Stallions take this, and I mean, obviously this is going to shift by the end of the day, it's really going to be exciting to see how these matches play out and how, 5th through 8th are tied 1-3 record.
Yeah, Stallions more so have a must-win today, because you look at their positioning where they could potentially play spoiler for maybe the likes of Ultra Academy if they have a bad matchup, UYU, depending on how that 4th through 6th seed plays out. Regardless, let's jump into the profiles, because for the Stallions, this is, again, that Team Zuma squad. These 4 players who relegated through, they qualified, and more importantly, Zuma said, we'll give you a home. And these are not nobodies. You're talking about Cryptic, Kaiser, who he's got a lot of fans on Twitter. He's got a lot of fans in game. We're happy to see him competing, but 2 players that I was really expecting a lot of was Ulysses after his performance last year in Cold War. I thought he had a very solid year. And 2 Real. I've been watching this guy compete in both open events and COD champs back in Black Ops 4. He's been a player that has certainly circulated near the top of the amateur leaderboards, and this team is just yet to be able to put it together. They're 1-3, their top performer being Cryptic. It just seems like, Ellen, they don't really have an identity down as a roster.
Yeah, and you know what? That's okay, because sometimes those things just take time to form. And honestly, for the damage that they've been doing just to get here, just the teams that they knocked out, we've mentioned Spart, Proloot, they're not even in here because of the squad. So, they have the potential. Obviously, they wouldn't if Zuma didn't pick them up and get that sponsorship behind them. So, you know what I mean? They have, they just need the time. That's it.
Yep. Sometimes you just got to marinate a little bit, but the only problem is, again, all these teams towards the bottom of the standings are running out of time. This is the big week to make up a lot of that ground, potentially get yourself into a playoff spot. Speaking of, it's Strike X who unfortunately round out the 1st through 8th seed in North America. They sit dead last, and this was surprising for this team. For one, Gunsy, Fame, and Ramby, again, notable players on this group of 4, but you look at some of the past histories, you're even looking at Lore Gaming, UYU, top 16 finishes, and maybe even on 6th gear with Fame last year, and Gunsy, who's had a standout performance in week 1. This is a team full of, I call them kind of the misfit of lost gunnies, where they have the potential to be able to be a middle-of-the-pack team. They have the potential to take it towards the top 4, but they just haven't figured it out. They are struggling mightily. They're 1-3 in series, struggling in that map lead, and it just seems like they have not been able to put all of those pieces together.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And very similar to kind of to the Stallions. I mean, I think Stallions are obviously the better team. They're in a better position. A little bit more chemistry there. But with this squad, yeah, they took it to a map 5. Yep. And I think they took down whatever it takes. But the 2 teams they played, both Bear Claw and now Infamous, which was 18 and Cracked, they got 3-0, and I think it was. Yeah, they got 3-0'd. So it's not even to be able to take on a somewhat, second, third place team. You got Texas Nation, you got Stallions, but the road's not going to get any easier. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So It's not going to get easy. This is a must win essentially for both teams, but yeah, it's kind of surprising from these guys because, I mean, we take a look at Rambi. Even that's a guy that I know, like, again, he's been in and out of the AM scene, kind of just in that top 24 area region, but like he has made noise. I've seen him compete at champs, and they have, you know, even from what we saw last week, Sean, on stream, like they have the potential. It's just there's something that's not clicking to hit their highest ceiling.
Yeah, there's moments where they put it together and it seems like, okay, this team can sort of turn things around. For instance, they started off 2-0 against Toronto Ultra Academy in week 1. They started off hot and then they got reverse swept. So you look at opportunities here where this team looks like the puzzle pieces are coming together, but there's multiple layers to every single team that give them success. Some teams can survive on just outslaying the situation. That is vengeance. Other teams rely on teamwork, maybe looking at Texas Nation where they can just outplay you from time to time. Everybody has their own strengths, and it seems that there is no fundamental foundation for Strike X, whether it's outslaying, whether it's teamwork, whether it's specific breaks and hardpoints, the way they approach respawns, the way they approach S&Ds. As soon as they get something right in one area, things start to fall apart in others. And for a group of 4 that is this talented individually, I guess I'm just surprised that it was kind of this dull going into this middle part of the season too. Ellen, looking at this matchup as a whole, I mean, both these teams are currently 1-3. I think there's more at stake here for Stallions, given the fact of where they sit in the standings. And looking at the series layout as a whole, what are you seeing from maybe Stallions' perspective or from Strike X that kind of sticks out to you as we look at the maps and modes?
Well, you said it right. In terms of Strike X, they're not. We had mentioned that, yes, they started off hot with the Ultra Academy. They literally 2-0. They're not even winning their searches, which was surprising because we said that this was like the Misfit Journeymen. They're really strong. We know over the years playing search. They're not even winning that. They got to take that.
Yeah.
But in terms of Gavutu, this in terms of Hardpoint, is going to be pretty difficult because Stallions, they're pretty damn good at Hardpoint over as a whole overall. Even Gavutu, they took Texas Nation almost. They almost took it. I think it came down to like a single Hardpoint, and of course Kismet doing big things wipes them all out. But that's still coming down to a single rotation against the top team who's like #1 and took stage 1 even and still continuing to dominate. That's scary if you're Strike X. So again, slay, figure out how to do that. But yeah, Sean, that's just really looking scary.
Yeah, well, Strike X, I mean, just looking how the maps and modes have gone, they've been to 2 Game 5s. They've won 1, they've lost 1, so they split the difference there. But the other couple of games they played, the other series they've played against UYU and Texas Nation, they lose 3-1. So they're not able to get very far into series, and when they do, they're 50% in the Game 5, which is great, but the sample size is just 2. So you basically put up a coin toss and you're wondering about the quality of the matchup. At this point, they still need to prove that they can work their way through a series because they're getting closed out in 4, and that just tells me that either A, they're getting by simply by the fact that they're able to steal a respawn, or B, they're not confident enough yet to be able to command a series early on, which does scare me. But it's kind of the same thing with the Stallions, right? Where they lose 2 Game 5s, they win 1, so you're 1 for 2 on that aspect. And then you lose, to Texas Nation, which no shame there. Both squads have. Texas Nation is probably the best team in this entire bracket outside of Bear Claw for a reason. But it just seems that both these squads struggle with closing out a series once they get control. Regardless, this is like a fight of, I don't want to say middleweight, kind of like the lower weight teams where it could be an absolute bloodbath, and it does have ripple effects for the standings as a whole.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And in terms of this Gavutu, we saw Strike X take it against Ultra Academy. Like, they can do it. They have the potential to do it.
Yep.
It just seems like that day 2, I don't know if like Wand maybe had slowed down, but we know the capability and the potential that is there. They just have to somehow find a way to keep that consistent.
Sure.
So this hard point on Gavutu, they've done it before. They've done it against a decent team. They can do it again. But still, it's just, when it comes overall to Call of Duty Vanguard, it's just such a toss-up, and it really, it's going to come down to holding those money hills. We already know P3, P4, huge money hill, and they have to be able to figure out how to hold, so.
Yeah, it really will come down to that. And the last time we really saw Strike X on Gavutu, I believe the last game we saw him on was Control. And I was really impressed with Gunzi. I was impressed with his play. But again, you're going to, if we're going to hit the dead horse one more time, if we want to see a successful Strike X squad, it's going to be a team effort. Duh. But we said that a lot for Europe today, and it's the same factor here. I was very impressed with Gunzi on the last time we saw him on Gavutu, but maybe those small inconsistencies from game type to game type do start to rear their ugly head today, where this is the most important week. We talk about week ones a lot, just being the week you kind of figure out where you're at, what you got to fix quickly, and, you know, you got some time to improve. Week 2 is where things really matter. Now jumping into week 2, we're here. This is day 1, and tomorrow concludes week 2. You have to make up the majority of the space if you're trying to jump up in the standings today or tomorrow. And you'd rather do it today, because if you go into tomorrow basically saying we have to win our 2 series or we're done, that's a lot of stress on these players. So you look at Texas Nation 4-0, Bearclaw 4-0, Infamous and UIU are right there at 3 and 4. They're both 2 and 2 respectively. So Stallions have a real opportunity. And in a matchup where they're playing Strike X, they may have the same record, but Stallions is in 5th place and Strike X is dead last. This on paper should be a matchup that Stallions potentially wins, and that might get him in favorable standing, potentially making it to top 4. So, like, there's a lot of potentials here, obviously, Ellen, but, like, this is a huge matchup for Stallions, because if they lose this, I mean, that potentially, I'm just getting stuck on that word now, that seals all of their chances basically for potentially making it to top 4. I'm having a stroke. But shout out to the ops, Shane and John. They do their job so we can do ours. We love them. Ellen, that's all.
I agree. If they lose this, it's like you're basically, I mean, again, the standings, caster math, we don't do it, but who knows? You might essentially, it looks like scary right now. You secure a spot for Texas Nation, Bearclaw, Infamous, and UIU. But still, here we go. We know how important this is. Both teams 1 and 3, 1 and 3 off the break, and it's going to be Kaiser. We're hopping on board with that auto baton in hand, locking down the mid lane, and well, Uli doing Uli things, flanking around with that MP40 in hand, and this scrappy contest of the first hill that we go. It is Stallions clearing off the point, remaining in control.
You know, we're early on into our Vanguard season. It is only season 2, but it's also scary to think about. We're essentially, halfway through, almost at the halfway mark of the Vanguard year, but this is a good barometer for a lot of teams, as currently Kaiser's on a 4 spree, and it's all right in the kill feed, but for Stallions, a very big opening break on that P1. We're going to rotate to P2 over towards the boat, but this is the big question going into this series, right? Like, how far can you swing that meter, and how aggressive can you play in these hard points? Because you have to set the pace early. That's what I'm looking for the subs to do, is Gunzi finds his way inside for 1, finds his way inside for 2. That's the early time for Strike X.
Oh, man, and that was so huge for Uli. He had 2 right there, but ultimately not the full member of his team to pick up the trade. So Gunzi, of course, doing a fantastic job of slaying out, by the way, on a 4 streak. Pushes out this back green area and knows that members of the Stallions are essentially spawning in the back jungle. Only 37 seconds left now. They push too far up, though. They could flip, but essentially that's what they want. So, as you see, Gunzi kind of just pushing out in that green area. Number 6, Uli, on the point for the contest. There's 25 seconds left remain, but it is Stallions that are kind of just on the butt end of the next rotation of the new hardpoint.
This is what's so strange. You put Gunzi on Gavutu, he starts to fry. He's 7 and 3. He will eventually fall, but the damage might be done for the moment. On the rotation, it is Strike X who are there, but currently it's Stallions in the point, and they have some chances, but Strike X maintain the hold for now. Ramby, got to finish that gunfight, brother. Hold on for the moment. Pistol, maybe. This has turned into an absolute chaotic mess, as that's all red in the kill feed, and there it goes. Stallions back into the hard point. Juan for the break, and instead, we sit here quietly.
Too real. Shout out for him for playing his life and then waiting for his teammate to pick up the kill. Amazing stuff from Stallions, staying alive now, as there's still 37 seconds left on the point. They do have a lead change and take it over, but overall, it's just still in the driving seats of Stallions. You see Uli pushing out P1, doing a fantastic job of that. Gets 2, slaying out of his mind, making it look too easy. Take a look at number 5, Cryptic. Huge gunfight on that boat side. He does manage to tag up a member, but look at Stallions regrouping and getting together, rotating over left. And now they do manage to fall, but it's Strike X who hold on to the point. And it's Kaiser staying alive.
It's a good numbers game. I mean, you just play 2-on-1s until you eventually get the spawns. They will have it. So Strike X win the rotation towards the point. It was basically a full 60-second hold for Stallions, but uncontested as it might be, this one will not be so easy. How do we push through the front? Over to Juan now. And he wins the first one. One pushing from behind. I think that's 2 real, but Kaiser will get cut. Juan finds the second, and there's the opening pick finally for Cryptic, but it's so far out that now you just flood your way into the hard point. You still have a streak for Gunzy. All of this quality time going into the pocket of Strike X, uncontested in the front of the hard point. Finally, numbers funnel on up, but is it too late for Stallions on this hill? Maybe we do elect to give up with those back spawns there for Strike X. Try to get back out to mid-map, and as you look at towards the mini-map in the middle side, it will be the call as we get mid-map pressure.
Yeah, it just seemed like Stallions, although they were clearing off the point, getting 1-2 pieces, it was just not really able to capitalize on that, as still having members of Strike X still doing a fantastic job of trying to hold as much as possible. But Fame doing a good job of pushing middle map, getting ready for that P5 rotation back green, does fall, and it's Stallions now who are in control. So these are essentially easily 2 back-to-back money hills. And you see zoning out Cryptic, kind of getting that P1 rotation, easily picking up the lane. Does get 4 streak, by the way, and you make it 5. One more kill here, and he'll have that streaks. And Stallions overall, Sean, doing a fantastic job holding.
I mean, it's basically been a dead even game.
That?
And that's the beauty of the takeaway at this point. We've had pinstripes in the kill feed, everyone getting a chance to get involved, but not a lot of breaks into the hard points. We've had clean holds, kills on the outsides, and that's essentially it. The ARs have done their job, the subs have done theirs, and from here, we just play a rotation game. Through the back, it's Kaiser. Juan will shut him down, but still in the hard point, Stallion soaking up the time. There's a potential break from Ramby. He will move his way in, and Fame will make his way towards the top of the boat. So look towards the top side of your minimap, back to P1 on our second set of hills on our second rotation. Here we go. Stallions early, ready, and waiting, but from the back, it's Juan. Very careful. The discipline. I like the play. He's going to be able to secure spawns if he gets away in time. Behind 2 real, there's 1, maybe 2. He might have played it just perfectly.
But Fame just, did you just see him? Did he just run by Cryptic?
Yep.
And that's just the thing. Playing beautifully, waiting. Stallions, though, even though Strike X essentially are clearing off the point and getting these rotations, and it's still, they're really not holding as long as you would expect. Like, the lead is still fairly close. Stallions is still chilling, even though it's like, about a 10, 12 point difference. But regardless, still 25 seconds left. Strike X still remain on hold, and it's a huge gunfight going on right now. Juan is making his way around the ship side, and he secured the spawn. So thinking about that P2, of course, it's still the scrap that his Stallions are fighting for, and not on the rotation. They are, but still, you got Juan there. This is going to be a huge battle for if you're 2 real. Got to secure these spawns, and there you go. 4 down for Stallions, and now you can work your way back in.
It's amazing how many times we've traded hands with these hills, and we're not talking about 10 or 15 seconds, like 20, 30, 40 chunks at a time. And it's still basically a dead even game. It's been like that for the majority of this game 1, and if the game 1 was going to go this way between these 2 teams, you might have expected this. So far, though, trading kills left and right. 2 real, last one standing inside the hill. He'll move his way out. Great shots with the pistol. Saw him do that during Black Ops 4. A little bit of flash from the past. They'll try to stay alive. His teammates are there for support, but a couple of nades fly out in numbers inside. It's Ulysses on your screen now, 13 and 15. Trying to make it 14. Here comes Juan. There goes Juan. He walks away with the win, and there's the break they were looking for.
Indeed it was, but the thing is still, it's just scrap time. And, that's the break they needed, but still, it was Kaiser that won the scrap. So, although they have the rotation, this is good for Strike X, if you can zone out the front, but still, they have Uli, Cryptic to worry about. So still, the hold and the pinch comes into the front, and you take a look at, if you see how far actually Strike X are zoning out, number 1, Gunzy's starting out, but still, Uli doesn't matter. Getting the kills from the front doesn't matter. Breaking it easily from the front. Cryptic, 2 real, and Uli all winning their 1s, and Kaiser still getting that back beach spawn. They're still holding. So just again, we've seen this before, Sean, where teams can easily win it from the front as long as they kind of just somehow get those cutoffs and get that like mid alleyway cut. But still, Ramby's winning his gunfights. That's good. 25 seconds left, and Stallions, they have the upper hand here if they can trap for this next rotation on to P3.
Yeah, and it does. And I was wondering where the spawns might come from in mid-map, but Stallions are certainly there, so they can continue to contest from Top Gun, but you're more worried, again, about that rotation. And again, we will start to hit that now. The Stallions should have the advantage here, but it's Fame working through the back, and he's able to win the opening gunfight. One more behind. Fame just buying time, and this gets his teammates in position to potentially help at least get the trade if necessary. He works under the bottom of the boat and finds one. So 15 and 22, but these last 2 kills have come at very crucial times. He just needs help. He gets 3 on this transaction, and what a way to get back into the swing of things. Fame finds 3. Wand working through the back, but look at the 3-man hit from the front. They can start to bully their way into this hill.
Yeah, indeed. And nades and stuns are going to be so important because, again, they know exactly where Stallions are coming in. But 2:10 to 2:01 now. And the fight from the front and the back do come on in. And essentially, it's still Stallions remaining in control. Juan is going to look to try to break and maybe cook a nade up, but does manage to connect with 2. That'll easily do it. Is still, again, it's Strike X getting this scrap time, and Juan going huge with the 3. Said when he needed to step up, and now making that an even KD. It's a 3 streak for Wand, and Stallions are still kind of gonna fight around the point. You see 2 Real trying to just make it a little bit mixy, but look at here, Sean. Although that crazy battle happened on that last hill, it's Stallions on the rotation, but Gunsy does take down 2.
Yep.
What was that?
Yeah, it's a 1-kill game now. That comes down to a singular hold, but Fame playing spoiler through the back. He flies his way in, and he gets cut down. That's Kaiser and Ulysses combining for 2. 2 Real does find the 3rd, but look at the spawns out at mid-map. It's Stallions who have to make that kind of awkward rotation through the middle lane, but you can stack if you're Strike X and contest from the boat. P1 locked down. Fame and Gunsy find both, and Cryptic, really the only one, the only AR who could potentially stop this push. He gets cut. Now the pressure on the front of the hill. 2 Real can't survive anything. Fame finds 2, but 2 get traded out, and Kaiser finds 3 on the entry. That's a big break and potentially the game. If they hold on, Stallions might have the final bit of time, but they have to worry about the rotation. That's up to Gunsy at top gun. He just has to play his life.
Indeed he does, but 2 Real could be the one that disrupts this, and he is here, but he is alone, and that's the problem. He's got to wait for his teammates, but he's got to get him off the point. Only 9 seconds left for Strike X to win. And there he goes, 2 Real. No, he does die. Wand and Ramby go huge. This is actually going to be it. Everything is locked down, and it looks like Strike X is going to take it. 250, Sean, to 235. What a crazy game.
Wow, that final push in the end. I mean, you think Stallions are going to be able to lock down those last 20 or so seconds, but they weren't able to get the kills at gun on the rotation. They just weren't able to get up there in time. And how many times in this game did we see a flurry of 4, 5, or 6 kills consistently where one team wipes the board, they hold the point for 15 seconds, and they go to the next? So it was a similar situation on that final hardpoint when we went back to P1. Ellen, it very much does come down to a one-hill game. And in this situation, we traded hands back and forth, but in the end, Strike X were able to get the team wipe when needed most, and they were able to get the win.
Yeah, and you know, it really felt like Stallions kind of like, I don't know, it felt like a little bit at first they were kind of in the driving seat a little bit, and it just like in certain situations where they could have capitalized, they just didn't. And again, of course it helps when you had Juan crazy nades in hand, and Uli, he was doing a great job too, like slaying him out, breaking. It felt so even back and forth.
Yep.
But overall, that was a really interesting game of Hardpoint for me. I don't know I don't know what it was about it. It just felt really weird. Like, yeah, you saw Kaiser getting the 3 pieces, Fame doing the same thing. It just like certain situations, there's trades that should have been happening that weren't.
Yeah, it didn't feel like
from both sides.
It didn't feel like either side had like complete control on the steering wheel for this game. Like we were both trading, whether it was team pushes or wipes or complete swings in the hard points. Both sides kind of got their fair share at every single hill, and we traded leads pretty often. But in the end, it was one wipe from Gunsy and company that really got it done. And I agree with you, Ellen. It was a very even-keeled hardpoint back and forth where both teams essentially did what they could to get the job done. But Ramby at 18 and 23, I mean, if that is the only player who kind of went negative and still then, you know, he did a great job, that's all you could ask for. A minute 52 in the hill. He got like 2 minutes. Like that is the takeaway, is that it was a team effort from Strike X for Stallions. This was a very dead even game of hardpoint, but when they needed to make that one big rotation and get those massive 2-3 kills, it just didn't work out.
Yeah, no, for sure. And on the flip side, 2 Real, same thing, 18 and 23, but 2 minutes and 5 seconds in the hill, excuse me. So yeah, it just really, it's just this game, I feel like, but especially in Gavutu, it just really comes down, like, you can hold those money hills, 1 or 2 hills and makes the biggest difference. But either which way, search and destroy, clean slate. Let's chalk that if you're Stallions. Go back into this Desert Siege and have it clear level headed. So as we go along to this, again, I'm going to be looking for those first bloods, those opening picks. I mean, we saw how crazy it was today, working so well for Sucre's Bakery with Super, but that's really, really what I'm going to be looking for. And of course, kind of a little bit of a step up from those subs to Real, Rambi, maybe some mid-map pressure. I don't know. I hope to see something different.
Oh, we can always ask for something to change. But going into this, I mean, for a team like Stallions, who love to take it to Game 5, you're looking at three series they've played so far in this season that have gone to Game 5 and they've taken one of them. I mean, I think that the key to that is essentially going your way through Desert Siege and winning it. Like, you have to win this S&D to potentially put that into effect. Then again, you could win the series 3-1. Who the hell knows? But in this situation, with how back and forth that game was, this is a weird spot for us to be in, because this is one of the first hard points we've seen so far this year for the Challengers Elite, where it quite literally felt like there was no clear winner. It was just so even back and forth. That means going into the S&D, we could be looking at a serious swing of momentum regardless of who wins this. So if you go up 2-0, if your Strike X are tied 1-1, all of a sudden everything is out of the water, Alan.
Yeah, no, for sure. And if you're Stallions too, not to mention Desert Siege, they took it 6-2, 6-4. I think the 2 times that we've seen them play it, and one of them was on Bear Claw. So it's pretty good. I mean, you could look at that. Okay, like that, you know, that could be in swing in their favor. And you know, we know that Strike X has been struggling a little bit in that manner. But you know, yeah, going into this, it's just these teams are both so evenly close that I don't know really exactly what to expect. But let's take a look at the S&D leaderboard as I say that, and see who are our top S&D.
Well, Havoc at first is like not surprising at all if anybody's watched NA.
Yeah.
Like, you probably expect this. Of course, it's going to be rounded out by a lot of veterans, and whether Vanguard plays into that regardless. Havoc first, Shawnee following it up 18 and Cracked. But across, I mean, it's literally just Texas Nation and 18 and Cracked. So those are the better S&D players in North America. And when the rosters first kind of formed in Season 1 and began changing in Season 2, I think a lot of us expected that would be the case, that these would be the leaders in the region. And there's a reason Texas Nation and Bear Claw are that good. But is there anything that looking at Stallions and how they've played Desert Siege before, do you think that Strike X are going to be planning for specific routes, or more importantly, just kind of planning each other for a play style that maybe they haven't seen yet?
Well, I will say this. You want to shut down Kaiser. Like, fair. I know that I'm trying to look at, let's see. If we have, when in terms of like first blood percentages, I know that like Kaiser, he's going to be one that you want to shut down. Like, he popped off in the last time. I think he dropped like 11 kills, was it? 11 or 14? Hold on, let me double check that. But regardless, like, it's just going to be really those opening first blood picks. Desert Siege, I feel like, is always about those lanes and getting, like, playing for that first pick. You always see teams kind of playing patiently, both on their sides, just looking for that pick with the AR, or sometimes even catching them off guard. So it's kind of going to be a balance of both. But catching them off guard, the bottom palace plays, or playing the window plays, playing sneaky, playing those awkward angles. Those are just some of the things that we're going to be expected to see.
Sure.
And someone's going to, you have to shut them down.
That's going to be the key. I mean, Palace has been the key today forever, and it always will be as long as Desert Siege is in rotation for S&D. Yeah. So when we look at the kind of the whole picture here for Stallions, obviously this Game 2 means much more than just tying the series up 1-1. Of course, it is kind of reconstituting the identity of the squad into this series, but as a whole, I think there's a lot to prove specifically in the S&Ds, because if they can push this series to the distance, you are going to be requiring on a search and destroy to potentially steal this game away from Strike X. But for Strike X, for a team that has struggled this much, to have kind of that composure in the end game of the Hardpoint and to potentially go into a situation where they could be the first team today to go up 2-0 from both regions that we've seen, I think that this is a very, very nuanced perspective, but they absolutely should take advantage, and they have a real chance to put the series away.
Yeah, no, for sure. And sorry, I don't know what it was, but my Google Sheets was actually kind of weird. But no, I was going to say too, on the flip side too, sorry about that, Fame is going to be one to shut down as well, because this guy, I know he had last time around last week, it was a 1.03. So he was kind of like the search star of the squad. He would be one to shut down.
Sure.
And you already see the aggressive push. Look at that, Sean. Already at A.
Uh-oh.
Get the bomb down. It's Stallions.
But Ramby's behind, so things might get a little bit dicey here. Too Real might have snuffed something out, but how quickly will he get in position to make it happen? Well, he's going to find one. And there's his teammate for the second. It's immediate trades. It's 3v1s. Now make it a 2v1. Fame cooking the nade, but he's going to get caught surely from the right. He will. And quickly, Stallions get on the board.
Yeah, that was a very, very fast round, but that could have been very, very scary. If Fame didn't cook that nade, Sean, and he had that kill on the Uli, that would have been very scary.
If he reads that,
But
then
still,
you're like, oh God, 1v1.
Very fast play. I know, right? No, not already. Almost an ace. But still, clean round. Very fast. Aggressive side there from Stallions on the ace point, but answering the call, you see Juan on that right side watching B. The aggressive push towards Palace we talked about. That window's deadly and Fame again. He picks up 2 now. Bomb is down. That is the only problem I see here for Strike X, but it's a 2 versus 2.
Window's deadly, but what about outside the window where Fame was just at? I mean, you never know. And
Anywhere around that window is
you
deadly.
better hit this, man. There you go. Okay. I was going to say, if you miss someone standing still, I'm clipping it and shipping it on Twitter. But here comes Too Real from behind. He's had a couple of 1v2s in his day, especially on bigger stages than this. Juan misses the snipe. Too Real trying to dip into the crevice, but just can't quite get away in time. But Juan now on the challenge. Surely Too Real knows he might get pressured, and somehow he's still alive. How is he still alive? He's spotted, right? Yeah, okay. I was waiting for the mini-map to figure it out. Strike X, get around back.
I was gonna say, I think he saw him. I think he saw him. Sometimes I know. Sometimes on the maps, it's hard to see things. You know, dust, debris, trees. Maybe a rat might run across your screen. Sometimes you never know.
Yeah, sometimes you never know.
Gotta make sure. Fame though, 5-1, having a really good game so far. To start, kind of.
I'll take that through 2 rounds.
Though. Yeah, on round 3, 5-1, not bad. But the aggressive push from Stallions comes on the bottom Palace here. But Juan and Fame do manage to stop. Uli, air build to pick up the trade. Now to even it up, 2 versus 2 yet again. Palace control, bomb, patience.
So many pushes through the Palace remind me of like Ramaza S&D back in Modern Warfare, where a couple of quick pushes through the doors or through the windows and boom, people are dead. You're already looking at disadvantage now. 2v2, bomb will be down. Player 7 is Ramby. He's the one closest. In the long rotation, it is Juan, but you would hope they group together at some point. Ramby does have an AR. We'll have to buy time for Juan to get in position. Not a lot of time to do it, though. Does Juan have a snipe? He does. One pick, and you'd be able to retake this site. Oh. Things are breaking down quickly.
The time. 15 seconds left. That's a huge pick for Ramby, but you got to hurry up. You got to go now. Juan goes for the defuse, and that would be it. Huge kills and stop from Ramby. Secured the round, but
That's
still,
pretty good.
I don't know. There's just something about
what's tripping
game.
you up, Ellen? What's going on? Talk to me.
I don't know. There's something about these guys. Something. I don't know what it is. I'll let you know. Next map.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you. I'm like, have you figured it out?
I gotta figure it out. I haven't figured it out yet. Either way, Strike X still kind of Fame leading the charge there. I mean, you could easily say that right now. Nah, I wouldn't say that. Never mind. Juan going in for that opening pick. Desert side. Uli with the first blood, though, on the opposite side.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
Ooh.
And you do have Gunzy running bomb. I like that decision because, again, he hasn't picked up a kill, but it's not necessarily his fault. It's more of just victim of circumstance. So get him involved with the objective. So far, hesitant as ever to push that bomb up. Wand, if patient is the name of the game, he might find himself the second blood in this one, and then you got a 4-on-2. Excuse me, on 3-on-3. Numbers, math, it all works out. And Gunzy on your screen. Well, I mean, you certainly could go to A, and it depends on whether or not Juan finds it.
Yeah, I was going to say, look at the defensive hold, though, from Stallions. Like, you got Kaiser like tucked in deep.
Yeah, you need like a quick plan and to pull the attention off A if this is going to work. Because the longer you wait, obviously the more information Stallions knows that you're not at B, so they're going to make their move to get into a hold to prevent this plant. Wand wins the gunfight. That's when the bomb starts to move up, and that will be the call. That was the opening break they needed.
Indeed, but the stun came out from Uli, so he actually knows that they are on the bomb, so the pinch does come in. 2 real. Huge kill on to Gunsy now. 10 seconds left, and the bomb is down. So, oh no, this is actually trouble for Strike X, as they're just going to scatter and try to get the kills, but now Juan, I mean, hey, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Only 1 second left. Chill. Stay alive. You're streaking out. Stallions still take that round now, even it up 2-2.
I was thinking if Juan guesses correctly, maybe he gets a kill. Maybe, but even then, you're playing, what, a 1-on-2? It's probably not going to happen. So, the round was essentially done once the player was killed off bomb. Nicely done by Stallions. They didn't take the bait. They held their ground. Now it's up to Strike X on the defensive side. Yuli at 5-2. Kaiser at 2-4. I think Cryptic's running snipe. We'll see what happens. On to B we go.
I love this play from Stallions. Aggressively quick plant, but they have to worry about Wand. I don't think Uli spotted Wand out to his right, so might come in contact. Fame does take down Uli, and now look at 2 real. Holding the windows, holding the lanes, but that's really the name of the game here. 3 versus 3 now. The push comes in from Gunsy, but now Fame is on the bomb. So realistically, there's 24 seconds left. Kaiser does get a pick too. Now 2 versus 2. And now the sprint comes in. Fame gets 1. Kaiser, he just has to play his life. There's only 15 seconds left, but Gunsy gets the chase and the kill. Oh no. Kaiser unable to get away with his life. Gunsy gets the kill and gets the defuse. That's the swing round that Strike X needed to take the lead.
I was wondering if they were just going to stick it regardless and try to play Guardian Angel around the site, but instead, they play up the gunfights, they get lucky on a break, and it was a bit chaotic, but they walk away from the smoke and they're able to win the round. 3-2 currently. Strike X do have the advantage. Gunsy finally gets himself on the board with 2 in a row in that round. Fame at 8-4, really leading the charge for all the players in the lobby. But again, capitalizing on the small stuff, that micro play that Strike X were able to utilize. I mean, you win your ones, you're probably going to have a better time on the site. And we're going to rush plan over it again. Cryptic, even though he gets first blood, bomb's going down.
Yeah, kind of the same thing that Stallions just did now. Strike X. Essentially, trying to stop the push there. Gunsy does get a nade out, and Fame the trade. But here, again, the bomb is down. There's only 28 seconds left. And Kaiser able to get a pick here. Now evens it up to 2-2, but still 20 seconds left now. And the chase comes in. I mean, the call out is there, but Cryptic still kind of searching around, needs to find Rambi, but now Kaiser falls. And with a sniper only in hand and 12 seconds left, it's still not enough. Strike X do a fantastic job. The rush plant and the hold. Huge for Rambi in the back.
17 seconds, 2v1, even a 2v2. Just play time, right? Fall off, make sure you have a line of sight on the bomb. It was planted towards back A, so you can clearly fall back and have an AR in position. 10-4 for Fame, and I feel like, obviously, we've brought up his name consistently round after round, but he's finding first blood. He's finding 2 kills at a time. He's really opening up the site and closing down on defense for Strike X. The reason that this S&D looks the way it does is because of what he's done. But onto the Palace we go. Everyone around everyone, but opening up yet again. Fame with another first blood. Can't wait to see the stat card on this one. 2 real might get a challenge here as Cryptic responds 3v3.
Yeah, and the problem is for Stallions too, like they're all huddled up in the Palace, and we know that this is an important building. Like if they can somehow get a pick, and that's kind of what Cryptic is doing, is just looking for the pick, and he might spot Gunsy, but doesn't. So with only 50 seconds left, that's really it. Just they know that all members of Strike X are around them.
Yep.
Juan able to get out, but look at where Fame is. He's there for the trade. So how far Gunsy is out, but yes, the nade from Uli opens that up.
If Juan stayed alive, A becomes much more difficult, and it already was, but Uli finds 2, and 2 real cleans up the third. That nade on Wand basically killed the round. Strike X needed him to stay alive. That shuts down 1 push onto his site. But great response by the nade, the follow-up kill, and 2 real closing out that final push. Back and forth we go. 4 rounds to 3. Strike X, we're in the driver's seat, but a great response from Stallions in this one. Back on the attacking side. Gunzy, 3 and 6. Juan, 3 and 4. Ramby, right there with them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, and Kaiser, first blood. Right away. Back, so see Gunzy kind of just backing up there, but still, looks like the play for the bomb is to kind of maybe maneuver towards A, but this is going to be much harder. Gunzy is just going to have to play patient. They still have a minute left, but at least all members of the Stallions know exactly where Strike X are, and Uli, of course, opens up with a pick.
I don't know if they know the bomb is down now, but they certainly should. So that info is available, and you can play around it. One was laying on B. That's 2 real. It was a beautiful counter strat from Strike X, but they just couldn't get anywhere close after that first blood. They lose numbers quickly. They're losing numbers again. Last alive, no longer. Stallions get their second round in a row. They tied up 4 apiece. We go into round number 9. This one very well could go to 11.
No, indefinitely. We said how evenly matched both of these teams have been playing tonight. And yeah, realistically, for that last round, Kaiser immediately had the first blood. Stallions just are doing a fantastic job at just kind of valuing their lives really well and playing together. Just really clinical. But last time around, we saw them aggressively quick push B. Let's see if we do it again. But Fame there, of course, for the stop. Juan with the first blood. And they there for the trade. So now in a 2 versus 3. Make it a 2 versus 2. That's Uli that's about to streak out.
I love the patience from Stallions in these rounds. They've just lost numbers so quickly, so they can't really set up for a push on offense. I mean, you see that follow-up nade. You're hoping you escape in maybe a 3-on-2 situation, but you drop 1 on the entry. And Ramby has a hint, an inkling. Someone could be around. Bomb planted today. 40 seconds to work through. Stallions have a lot of advantage here, as Ramby can't get a clear line of sight, and Stallions can certainly work around the time, but here comes Juan to the back. If he catches Yuli, this round basically is done. With 28 seconds to go, they got to make their move, and they're making it now.
Yeah, Juan is just going to have to figure out how to maneuver these corners and check every single angle. I mean, you see where Kaiser is too, and Juan not able to get the kill onto Uli, and there for the trade. Ramby, last alive, does manage to take him out, but 14 seconds left. Realistically, it's just about playing time, and that's all Kaiser needs to do, and that's exactly what he does. Even though Ramby does get the kill, it's Stallions who get the round.
And more importantly, I think Stallions have streaks now as well, so you're guaranteed a glide bomb. You have info off rip. How many times have we talked about investing the glide bomb appropriately? And we've seen it earlier where you can't rally it into a kill, that investment goes away, and you lose the round because of it. This is a chance now for Stallions to tie up this series. 12-5 for Yuli. And he's got streaks, man. He's got a glide bomb. This is a round you should be able to put away if you get first blood.
Should be is the question, though, Sean. And that's the name of the game. So Strike X, I'm sure aware of that, is going to aggressively push into Palace, and the gunfights go down. That's immediately 2 for Stallions.
That's such an aggressive playoff rip. They get 2 kills.
The bomb's going to go down.
What do you do in the spot, Ellen? You're down 2-4? How do you retake?
Well, you have 40 seconds to do it. So, I mean, I would do what 2 reel's doing. Play the corner edges of the map and kind of work my way around. Kaiser, obviously, he's trapped in the middle, so he's going to wait. He has to wait for his teammate to get closer. So, realistically, 2 reel, everything is going to be on him to work a pinch. 25 seconds left. They already spot it. He gets stunned. But now Kaiser, on the other side, he's going to have to make noise. So he's able to take down 1, but still, that's a 1 versus 2. Now time is a factor. So you have 15 seconds left. You can't really do much. 2 people left. There's not enough time.
Yep.
That's it.
Round 11. Here we go.
Round 11.
It just comes down to if they can bait the streak. If Strike X can bait the streak early and they can survive it, they have a real chance. But that's the question, right? Do you continue to use it? So in this round, in round 10, they got aggressive. They got 2 kills off of it. The coin flip worked. They get a first blood and a follow-up. They win the round. If they can bait the streak, maybe. But it depends on how aggressive the playoff rip. For Stallions, you're playing for first blood, you're playing for the pick, and then you're using the streak. Otherwise, it comes down to time. We'll see what they do.
I feel like Palace is going to be huge here, either which way, but yeah. The bomb is still going to work its way towards B, but look at it. It's 2 real on it. They don't spot him. He manages to trade at least, but there's the streak from Uli. So now the bomb is down, the streak is in, and there's the play. Now it's going to slow down.
And Uli's in a bit of a power position. I mean, he can just use these walls for cover. And it's going to come down to Fame. With bomb being down, Strike X have to make a move. But all the crosses are covered. Cryptic is not going to let anyone get by uncontested, unscathed. And Fame's starting to make his move. He's trying to get behind a Kaiser. If he gets Kaiser, this becomes possible. But can he get unseen? Unspotted. That's the right word. Kaiser, nope, spots him. Stallions holding their line. They're not letting anyone through. Wand has nowhere to go. You got 30 seconds. You got to make a play.
Yeah, there's not enough time. And they all have automatons. They're locking it down. Kaiser's in the spawn. You got 2 members of Stallions locking this in. I think that's done and dusted here, Sean. That might be it. But wait, if Juan... No, never mind. I was going to say, if Juan was able to maybe get out of there and get the bomb. But no, you still have the time against you to plant. And that was done and dusted. Stallions, I feel like, taking that very convincingly. Uli obviously having the game of his life, 14-6 in a 6-5 fashion.
Was going to go to round 11. We kind of expected that after it was going back and forth for a while, but shout out to Stallions for not only holding the streak for as long as possible, but, you know, it was really dependent on what StrikeX decided they want to do. Did they want to get aggressive off rip, try to play for a pick? If not, we're going to hold our ARs back if we are Stallions and wait for things to develop. They did just that. Yuli didn't move from his post, and from there, you play off the island, you get info, you wait for things to come to you. They have a streak, last case scenario. It worked out in the end. Round 11, Stallions do tie up the series at 1-all. That's English. Ellen, holy God, we got ourselves a series finally. It's 1-1.
Indefinitely. Like I said, these guys, they know what's at stake, so they're going to be playing out of their minds and putting all their heart into it. But man, as we take a look at that replay, shout out to Kaiser as well, because he was really starting to get those first blood picks. And although Fame starting off really, really hot, it's like his teammates couldn't really, keep up with that pace, at least because, I mean, he was popping off, you know what I'm saying? But either which way, very, 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 very close. Yeah, Stallions are just, God, Cryptic too, locking it down with the sniper in that far left lane. They just did such a good job.
Fame did really all he could.
He did.
It seemed like even when moments where StrikeX were in position to put this game away, they just were unable to get it done. And that's credit to Stallions with how composed they played it down the stretch. Looking at the stats here, you had Uli at 14-6. I mean, how often was he a critical factor in these rounds? A couple of key gunfights that he was able to walk away with, but Kaiser and Cryptic, 9-9 and 5-9 respectively. Non-traded kills, 6 for Kaiser, 9 for Uli. I mean, that spells the tail of the tape in that round 11.
Yeah, no, for sure. And they even both, like, evenly across the board had the same amount of first bloods, which is, crazy. But, in this, I guess, so to speak, if you look at Stallions, they had 2 more bomb plants than StrikeX. So, I mean, I don't know. In certain situations, yeah, Fame 14-9, 5-8 Wand. Ramby, he did start to step it up a little bit, but I think Gunsey kind of had a little bit of a lax game there. Like, not lax, excuse me, but just, was struggling a little bit. Just couldn't really find his foothold, because I think it was like he didn't even have a kill until like round 3 or 4, I think it was. So yeah, it just a little bit of struggles. But regardless, still with the issues and with how well that Fame performed, taking it losing 5-6 is still not bad. But yeah, you're gonna have to figure something out to get that magic together, especially as the road's not gonna get easier, Sean.
It's certainly not, especially with this being week 2 of stage 2 and knowing that both these teams are fighting for their respective rankings within North America. Both of them currently sitting 1-3, and this series does spell a lot. If you're Stallions, you win this, there's a good chance you could move in to that top 4 potential. hopefully, if some things go your way. On the other side, you're just hoping you don't finish last. But we got Gavutu control coming up. It seems like that is the map mode combo we have had for Game 3 for a decade now. We have just been playing Gavutu control nonstop on the stream, and I'm not complaining. I like it. Followed by Berlin back-to-back. So, again, another choice where Berlin being the final two modes, we've seen that a couple of times in both regions, but that Gavutu control is calling our names over, and I'm going to pay attention to it because this one does give one of these teams the edge in a 2-1 advantage in this series. For Strike X, the respawn looked pretty clean, but both teams had their moments. In that S&D, again, it came down to another close call. Ellen, I feel like maybe Stallions were able to get some of that rust off in that game 1, and maybe they go into this control and win a couple of defensive rounds.
Yeah, for sure. Offensive end, I can see that. Like I said, their Gavutu game usually is really good. Maybe they were just shaking off the dust, but as I look at this, I don't think... Yeah, obviously, like, all L's across the board for Strike X on Gavutu, so, like, on control, so I'm scared for them, but I know, like, how well that they can play on that map. Like, we've seen that before, you know, in terms, at least, of Hardpoint. So, yeah, pressure's on. I'm just trying to think here. Who is it? It is Wand. Yep. I'm picking on you, Wand. I need you to step up. It's Wand I'm looking at.
You're just bullying Wand now.
Pressure's on because in terms of the overall team, it's a 0.8 KD. So yeah, he's gonna have to step it up here in this Gavutu control, lock down those lanes and rotate, baby.
Well, we've seen teams do it before. Obviously, we've seen them do it a couple of times. And again, shout out to Zuma for housing these players on the Stallions. We give them a lot of credit, and we give him a lot of love for supporting the challenger scene. We appreciate you. For Strike X, Island of Misfit Gunnies. This is the time to be one of those Gunnies. This is the time to pull it all together because Strike X absolutely has what it takes to be able to put everything on the same page and bring it the distance. But this is a series that I would not be surprised if we go 5-L. I was thinking maybe we might get our first 3-0 of the day here, where whatever side does it. Oh, no.
I don't know.
This one could very easily go to another S&D.
Yeah, I don't know. It could. But think about the last time. So they played, Strike X played 18 and cracked on this, aka Infamous Esports now. And they didn't win a side. They went 3-0. That's a problem. But again, it is a solid classic Exceed and Johnny. So granted, they're a good team. Still, it's one of the top teams. But again, it doesn't get easier. You still have to play Texas Nation. So whatever kinks, hope you worked it out from week 1. Going into this, it's like clean slate. Don't look at the paper. Just go into it a fresh head. But either way, I don't know. Sean. I don't know what to expect. Like I said, I don't know what it is. There's just something that's just off there.
Have you figured out that feeling yet, or is it still there?
I haven't figured it out. I mean, obviously, it's Fame is over here playing out of his mind. They're all playing out of their mind. But I don't know. As we go into this, I still feel like it's going to be really hard to take down Stallions because I just overall feel like they, at the end of the day, are in the driving seat. I do.
You could be absolutely right, and you probably will be, as history tells us. But in this moment in time, it really comes down to how the pressure's been able to mount over towards B is too real, breaking the mold of what we usually see on Gav control already. A couple of ticks over towards A and B, but we will split our resources for the moment and put pressure under the boat. It's Cryptic up top. He's good for 1. Can't find the second, but damage done. They get that first tick.
Yeah, indeed. And you know what? I think I know what it is. It's because I feel it's Stallions, man. I feel like, you know what? I'll explain it after. Anyways, on this point, you see Wand gets 2, but 2 real, still holding it on. And Kaiser, him and Kaiser, man, 2 real and Kaiser, fantastic duo in terms of locking stuff down. And Uli, obviously, he works this map. He works every lane and every possibility. And Sean, this is going to be it. He's going to be playing a nuisance. So you see Stallions is going to start to push up and work their way towards tower and hopefully zone forward. But 2 ticks of progression in their favor and the lives are even. It's really just about holding A here.
Well, it's worked out for him. They're working on that 3rd tick. So far, so good. Only 1 player in front to contest. That was Gunzy, and he quickly falls. But finally, Ramby will get the next call up, and he will win the opening gunfight on the bottom, but instead, turning his attention towards the top. But we slow the progression on A. I Things get a little bit quiet around the boat. Gunfights fall on the outskirts, and it looks like we're already working on B. So we're splitting our decision here. 20 to 18 in the life count in favor of Strike X. 2Real working through the back. He might be good for both. And while it's all red in the kill feed, we've stopped the clock, but wait, we're almost done with A. We've given up, but we've gone to B.
Indeed, but look at this. They separated the push. So Strike X is kind of like, hey, A, B, where do we go? We gotta stop something. But B, as we know, is more important to stop because essentially it's harder to cap B. Teams usually focus on A to quickly get that time. So realistically, Juan kind of pushing forward does manage to save B, but still, it's Uli that does secure A. Getting that extra minute on the clock, Stallions is going to look to rotate over beach side. And P1, we know how important it is to get this gun control to push through the front, but the problem is Cryptic did just die on that LST ship, so that's not going to really be able to separate the push. They're going to have to move on forward, and they have a minute to do it.
Not a lot of lives, though. 12 to 11, only a 1 kill difference. A couple of players try to funnel their way through Top Gun. It's Cryptic leading the charge, and who on the outside but Wand, Automaton in hand. Could spell disaster for this push if he plays it patiently. Kaiser, he just can't find the shots. That's such a difficult angle to read, but regardless, Kaiser sends out some out of his own, and he walks away with the win. And with that, now we start to push up just a little. Rambi has to stall this push. Can he? No. Kaiser for 2. Top Gun control there. Gunzi responding with a couple. I mean, it seems like things are almost ready to develop, but nobody gets their clean foot up the beach. And now we just kind of slow down. To the back, Yuli for 1. Can't find the second. 8 to 7, 15 seconds to go.
Yeah, it seems like Stallions is almost as if like they're on the panic mode now. And yes, again, 10 seconds left. There's Kaiser kind of waiting for the push, but he does get an opening pick. And now the flood has to come, and it has to come now. So that's 2 down. They have to go. They have 3 seconds on the point. That is 2, 3. Make it for Wand. Oh my goodness, Rambi with the nade. And it's really Uli just last alive. 5v5 with the lives. And he does stay alive long enough, but he has to play ring around the Rosie. And it is contested. He's still staying alive, Sean. This is absolutely crazy. And his team's coming from the P1. Now it's really just having to get the kills from the front. But Rambi stays alive, and his teammate in suit. Woo! That was mixy, but what a hold from Strike X.
Imagine doing all that and your teammates can't even help you with the kills. They can't even get close to the point. Like, that's credit to the defense of Strike X, but for Stallions, that's a situation. You have to walk away with a couple of kills. You have to walk away with some time on the point. I get it. You don't have a lot of clean looks over gun. You don't have a lot of people filling in the lanes to be able to challenge those subs. But your ARs have to do a better job of helping the last player in the point.
I agree. Uli was doing everything he could to stay alive. But still on the attacking side, I think they're mad about that. Stallions gets 2 off rip. Push forward. Kind of see the defensive setup here that they have. So essentially, it's going to be about pushing forward. Cryptic doing just that. Shaky shots on the Fame does fall. But that lane's going to be easily opened up. You see Uli rotating around to help 2Real. And now 2Real dancing around Rambi does fall again. So now Strike X able to clear out that opening defensive line from the Stallions. Able to kind of zone forward and start to get set up on the boat. And hopefully get a ticket progression onto A. But see if 2Real has anything to say about it.
Big win by Gunzi. Kaiser slowly working his way towards the boat, and he gets caught. It's trades back and forth for both teams. Around 30 seconds to go in this round. The defense has been kind to Strike X. They've been able to find their way out of a couple of dicey situations, but Yuli working through the back might be able to add more kills to that column. Is all red in the kill feed. Finally, Rambi shuts him down. With that, though, does that spell disaster in this round on the attacking side for Stallions? They've had the kills, but just not the positioning to back it up. They've barely gotten anything over towards A. You got Yuli trying to work through the back cut, but even with this, there is nothing happening on the point. Another one. 4 seconds. Cut down. Cryptic now inside. He drops. 1 with a big 2-piece. And he falls as well. That's it. That's the round. There just was not enough happening. Strike X do what they have to.
You know, and I want to say just a huge shout out to Uli because he literally kept being annoying in the base. That's realistically, like, every time you see it, like, he's just getting behind them somehow. And when when you're essentially defending, that's even on both sides, that's just a good thing to do. But they were letting him do that. Somehow they just managed to get behind him and work that beach side and keep flanking around, and it was just like rinse and repeat. So Stallions do a very, very good job at defending there because, well, if they got that tick of progression on the attacking side, that means if we do go to a swing round, hopefully if they keep getting those kills, oh, actually not the ticks, but the kills in terms of that, I think they outslayed them. But still,
I like
answering the call. Yeah, this is a really good play from Stallions as they aggressively work B, but Gunzy with the stop.
Yeah, I like this because not only do you have some lives to give in this situation where it's worth just throwing bodies on the board, seeing what sticks, but also off spawn, you pull attention away from A. So look at where they're spawning now. You have 2 already into the point. Who cares what Juan does? Yuli gets the kill. Rambi could try to work his way in, but numbers are here on the top of the boat. A lot of people probably watching that thinking that was a weird rotation to be, but no, that was actually quite smart. And instead, you're left up to your own devices as a couple of gunfights do go your way. Into the point we go. It's Strike X trying to make their move. Rambi on your screen. Now inside. He'll find one, and he gets cut down.
Yep, indeed he does. Very clean stop from Stallions. And 2 real, locking down this top LST area. That was so important. Does manage to get a kill onto Juan. Unable to get out of dodge, but Kaiser doing a really fantastic job is just staying alive and securing down that point. But you see, take a look at Cryptic over there on the B side. Does manage to win a huge gunfight, and this kind of splits up the push a little bit, but still, Cryptic over at B. All members of Stallions, it looks like they're going to decide to push that front beach area, so now can they hold long enough to cap? I think this is looking pretty good to do so. Stack the point! That's it.
Well, we'll give you a quick update. As it seems like the names are flipping back and forth every single round. We apologize for that. We will keep you updated with what happens. It is Stallions on the left side of the screen. Yuli, 2 real, Kaiser, Cryptic, Strike X, Gunzy, Rambi, Fame, and Juan. So we will try to keep you as corrected as we can. I thought I was having a stroke. My brain was like, "What is happening?" Gunzy for 3. Into the point we go.
Is that what's weird?
That might be what was changing up. I was like, I swear I'm seeing things differently right now. Gunzy gets caught, all red in the kill feed. It's Stallions who find the wipes. They're on the attacking side. You have a triple stack into A. And Rambi going to ladder stall his way up for a moment. Maybe pulls off his best Selim impression. Down we go. He's going to get caught. Maybe it doesn't matter. Stallions win the round. They triple stack it. They get it done. Up 2-1.
Yeah, and realistically, they did such a good job, too, at separating the push. Like, you had Cryptic over there kind of being annoying that beach side, and then you had Kaiser kind of just LST ship, and then the constant flood of just separating the push, right? And it's really, really important because, of course, it helps lock down that B side, and then, obviously, if you get 3 down, then you're in a position to be able to get set up and hopefully trap the enemy back green, back deep back in the beach. So, Stallions do a fantastic job holding on, but here on the attacking side, you're hopping on board with Fame, who's not having the best game, 5-14, but still a lot of COD still left. Does get taken out by Cryptic, and now again, it kind of seems like the attacking at A is going to work on through. Juan is going to work that middle push, could maybe make a stop, and he does. So Uli able to trade him out. This is just such a scrappy game, but overall, it's Strike X and Rambi with the clock. Able to secure A and at least get 1 tick.
Yeah, look at him. Look at him go. Was that 5 kills in a row? They're on to the point. Strike X on the attacking side for now. We'll jump over to Juan as he tries to work his way through Top Gun. Does not work out as cleanly as he would have liked. 2 respond in the kill feed, but Strike X, regardless, doing what they can at A. Uncontested, split 4-man hit through the middle of the map for Stallions. No one getting close to the point. Gunzy putting out a couple of warning shots and essentially converts those into a win. Oh, looking for the second, regardless. That's A locked up. That's another minute on the board.
Indeed it is. The only problem here for Strike X is you are down in lives. So, the attacking side, yep. Rambi just kind of holding down LST. Fame, unfortunately, does get blown up by a barrel on the other side, so still. How much time can you invest? You do have 1 minute and 40 seconds left, but it's realistically gonna just being able, like, a lot of pressure right now on Rambi on this right side. You can see Strike X is kind of focusing this side of the map, so Stallions, of course, able to read this, is going to wait for those back pushes, and they can't invest too much time into this, but Gunzy at least able to get one. It's going to make it hopefully easier, but still not a lot of time to work with. It's really just about playing these picks and playing patient. Minute left. Minute and 10 seconds left.
That Strike X have this lead with Fame at 6 and 18. He's triple negative, and we hate to point it out, but one, it's our job. Two, you have been feeding kills, and it has not worked out. So far, you're essentially relying on your teammates to do the heavy lifting, and they've done it to their credit. Top gun control certainly there. Rambi under screens, thanks to Gunzy's 3-piece, all of a sudden things get a little bit more realistic over to B. A minute 5 to go, and the time does stop, so we don't waste a lot of time getting onto the point. But you have to worry about those back close spawns. Stallions are more than happy to continue to throw numbers at this lane if it means their ARs are picking people off at range. Right now, it comes down to Rambi and company. Can you get subs anywhere close? Can you shut down Cryptic on this potential peak? Rambi's going to move up. This is a very dangerous one if your teammates aren't there for support. He drops to Cryptic. And with that, we kind of slow down.
Yeah, and again, it's just the time that's going to be a factor, and of course the lives. So you have 35 seconds left. You got to get some kills. Wand is going to be huge here as he locks down the mid lane of the tank, and Cryptic trying to win the gunfight, does tag him up a little bit, but those are huge gunfights from Gunzy and Fame. And now the forward push is going to come on through. That's 4 down wipe for Stallions, and now there's only 5 lives make it, and this...
Wow.
Still, they only have 1 tick of progression. There's still time to clear off the point, but you gotta play somehow fast.
Yep. You gotta clear the progression, and you gotta get the kills. Ellen, I think there's just too much. It's 15 to 4, 15 to 3. It's a ratio of 5 to 1. GG's, man. 14 to 2, 28 seconds to go, but that might be all they need. Just play TDM. Yuli the last one, and that's gonna be the game. Strike X. Am I wrong? Tied up 2-2. I'm probably blasted. Ignore Spaceman.
Yeah, no, it's just like...
Yeah, ignore Spaceman. He's blasted.
That was right. Okay, so, again, there was an opportunity, but Strike X, regardless, kind of just swinging the kills in their favor. And that's kind of like the thing. Again, on the attacking round, if you can't get the sights, get the kills. Because you're going to make it so much more harder. So much more. It's just gonna be,
sure.
What can you do? You play search at that point when you have 30, 40 seconds left, but able to capitalizing on the attacking B side. You see, this is something that's very risky. Stallions, if they can't capitalize on this, it's gonna make it very close and much harder to get A, but still, can they get the kills? Fame does fall. And a lot on Yuli right now is Gunzy and Rambi do take him down.
I was watching those spawns as well, because Kaiser was the first one up on this new wave, and he immediately gets the top gun, so he wins a gunfight. But as he does, his teammates squad spawn with him, and they just push over to A. You trade a 3-on-1 to a 2-on-0, and you get the spawns there. So we will, again, swing our resources back over towards the boat. As long as Rambi stays alive, there shouldn't be a push over towards the beachfront. And we will continue to work our way up the gun.
That's just it. Staying alive. Can he? He does. And that's 2. So, the only problem here is obviously A is being captured, but look at where Rambi is. Even if A does get captured, Strike X essentially can focus all of their efforts just to hold B. So we've seen Team do this, and that's exactly what they're doing. Don't feed lives. 21 lives for Strike X. And there's 23 for Stallions. So now as Stallions do essentially cap A, it's going to be how are they going to enclose onto this? Because we know people sit P1, people sit back beach. This is going to be a very hard break.
Can you get Gunzy out of position? That's the only way this becomes feasible. Unless you just slay your way out of the situation, which very well could be the case. How far up Gunzy pushes is whether or not this round spells out in your favor. It's a 1 life lead, make it a 2. Kills continue to fall for you. But in this situation, it's kind of senseless trades at gun.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you need gun. I feel like you have to have gun to capture B. Or defend it. And just doing such a fantastic job. Strike X, only a minute left, doing such a good job at zoning forward and continuously doing that. And you see, too, Juan staying alive, just throws the nades, throws the stuns, and gets 2. I feel like that shouldn't have happened. Kaiser finally able to trade out, and Gunsy again, just over on this beach side, but still, that might be an opening for Stallions. But Fame, again, just circling and playing Ring Around the Rosie, keeping control of that anti-air gun.
But that's a big 2 kills. It slows down the push. It goes from a 3-on-1 right down to the point to a 1-on-1. That's a huge kill. Now you can triple stack if you need to. 12 lives to 9. Strike X in this overtime on the defensive side have been perfect. Gunsy just throwing nades towards Top Gun. You got 2 Real trying to work his way up, but has to avoid a couple of shots and worry about Ramby on the cross. Surely Ramby knows he has an opportunity to shut this one down. There's the cross. 5 seconds to go. You got to make a push. You got to make it now. Opens up with the kills. Cryptic for 2. But with that shut down, that's it. GG's. 9-5 the final tally, but Strike X in OT. Take it. 3-2 on control. Gavutu was not kind to the Stallions, and in the end, Strike X with a 2-1 lead in the series.
Yeah, and ultimately, I want to see the stats on that, but yeah, that's pretty crazy. Like, considering the fact that they had a member that wasn't really performing their best and they still took that in a 3-2 fashion, absolutely insane. But it really goes to show how well that Strike X was just doing that, such a good job at zoning forward and consistently keeping up with the pressure, even on the defensive side. And I wonder for Stallions if maybe pushing that B site off break maybe punished them because they lost that a lot of time. But then again, they still did manage to capture A, and they had a minute and 30 to do it. But it's still Strike X holding those lanes, and even despite picking up a couple of key important kills, they just really weren't able to capitalize on it. And it always just seemed like there was always just one player left in a situation where they couldn't hold. Strike X did a fantastic job trading, baiting, doing everything they needed to do to secure, even with a man down. Regardless, Fame still played a part in that. Regardless of not performing the best, still played and valued his life in situations that mattered.
Yeah, even with that bad performance, the fact that Strike X walk away in essentially a 4v3 and they still get it done, right? Like, Fame, a very slow Gavutu, but in the end, a win is a win. Doesn't matter how you get it. 12 and 26, but Juan leading charge at 31, and Gunsy leading the whole lobby. 37 and 27, 32 non-traded kills, and in those offensive rounds, 34 kills in total. Like, the dude was getting the job done and putting his team in position to continue to cap those points. You look across the board, though, it was just a bit of a slaughter in the end. And the kills didn't really spell out the way the game went, but on those defensive rounds, Strike X just held their ground. They were more than happy to throw 2 at a point at a time when they're winning those crosses, thanks to the likes of Ramby, thanks to the likes of Gunsy. How much easier it becomes to be able to shut down a 4-man hit, especially on Gavutu on the beachfront at B. It was pretty much textbook.
Oh, yeah, for sure. When you have your ARs, the locking lanes, slaying out, it's really hard. And for Stallions, I mean, we saw that Uli would be in a situation where he might be the last alive, cap at a point, but he never really had, you know what I mean? Like, it's just hard when you don't have those ARs slaying out and getting the support from the front. I think we saw that in one of the rounds where they could have capitalized on the attacking side, but just not enough of that slay factor that was coming on through. And I mean, yeah, Wand, Gunsy, 20 defensive kills, 23 from Ramby, 22 offensive kills. Like, that's insane, Sean. Insane. But
it's nuts.
Got Berlin Hardpoint, still a clean slate. And we know, well, when it comes to Berlin, at least, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to expect from this. This is just it's still a weird game for me, man.
This could be a very quick hard point. And I know that this series has gone back and forth the way it has. So for this series alone, I'm not expecting this to be a blowout by any stretch. We are not going to get a vengeance hard point like we saw earlier in Europe. But these games have gone the distance. 250, 235, around 11, and around 5. There is no reason this Berlin hard point can't be as contested. But that's the scary thing for me on the respawns, is if Fame just turns it around, if he just has any performance other than a double negative or triple negative, all of a sudden Berlin becomes a playground, and Strike X could very easily close this one out 3-1. And for a team that's sitting dead last, what a way to take out not only Stallions from their position in 5th place, 4th place, but also to take it to a team that got picked up by Zuma, now has that kind of brand recognition behind him. Just saying. Like, this is a very big Berlin Hardpoint.
No, you're absolutely correct on that. And yeah, I feel like this team has just such an interesting potential because it's just the consistencies. I mean, even from both teams. Sometimes you see them fry. Sometimes, they might have those situations where they start funneling or can't capitalize on certain moments. But regardless, it's still a really, really good turnaround for Strike X considering, the last week that they had. But again, the competition is fierce, man, in both regions. This game, the passion from these players this year has just been unmatched. And as we go along through the year, Sean, I know these rosters are going to change. Some of these players are going to move up to the CDL because we know there's been craziness going on over there. And I mean, obviously there's talks of Paul X maybe joining NYSL. Who's the next player out of these teams? But for Stallions, I think, why I think this is weird? Because I had a lot, even before coming into this stage, I've been watching this team and I know, I don't know. I feel like they're again, we know that both teams haven't essentially hit their ceiling, but I don't know, with on paper, how consistent and how the teams that Stallions destroyed to get here. Yeah. I feel like it should have been a blowout against Strike X. I'm not going to lie. But
it's fair.
But yeah, again, this game with the pace of it and how much it has been changing every week has just been something different. So,
I mean, if we're talking about hitting the ceiling for either of these teams at this stage, either A, you got to get a trampoline and jump up there because you only have a game or two to get yourself solidified in the standings for the playoffs next week. And B, it depends on how actually high up that ceiling is. In this situation, I think Strike X, you try to make the most out of the rest of this out of the rest of this season. There's no telling what you could do. Whether it's this series, whether it's the series tomorrow, they certainly could try to make a run to the bracket. But they're currently sitting 1-3 in 8th place for a reason. These players are very, very good, but it certainly just hasn't worked out the way they had hoped. For Stallions, you're basically fighting for not even just kind of your standings in the elite, but also kind of proving to your boss, who happens to be Zuma, that this was the right pickup, right? So they're actually in a unique position this season because they're also fighting for their respective cumulative professional rep with someone like Zuma. But, a good result today and a good result tomorrow could certainly help things. But right now, they got to turn it around.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And just for being a newly formed team, it's still, regardless, they're doing, fairly well. And we do have the Minnesota land obviously coming up. So I know that as we progress throughout the year, there's going to be, the teams are going to learn the game more. They're going to get more into a groove. Hopefully, I love it when teams stick together. We need more of that, especially in the AM scene. But either which way, a lot of stakes on this next Hardpoint. I'm curious though. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Hardpoint leaderboard and see the top 5 performers of Hardpoint. And I was going to say that was literally next to Cryptic. I'm looking at Cryptic because he does have a 1.22. You see second place here with 72.89 traded kills, and Assault there, top spot, 18 and cracked, 1.31. And overall, I mean, Sean, as we go into this Berlin Hardpoint, I mean, in terms of Stallions, I mean, what do you think they need to do to win? Obviously, we know the ARs step it up, but in terms of Berlin, from what we've seen today, you think Cryptic can lead the squads?
Their break game's got to get better. I mean, looking at the first Hardpoint, it was so clear that everyone had their chance at the hill, and there really wasn't a lot of contest time. But for Stallions, they have to get better at breaking the Hardpoint and holding it after that, because you can't afford, especially on Berlin, how you can chain some hills together. You cannot afford to continue to trade 60 seconds here and there on the other side with Strike X. So I'm looking at, I mean, if we're talking about slaying Cryptic, absolutely. But as a team, there has to be a better, well-rounded approach when it comes to breaking and holding a Hardpoint, because you can't win Berlin, let alone any Hardpoint, consistently. by giving up that much time that consistently on every single other hill. So it's got to be a team effort from Yellen.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. And Too Real, I'm going to be looking at him too as well, because we know that Cryptic, okay, he has the best KD, but on the Stallions side, and we'll talk about, of course, Strike X after this, because we're gonna be picking on you guys too. On the Stallions side, it's Too Real. He, and in terms of overall for Hardpoint, 0.85. On the flip side, and 65% on the 9 try to kills. So gotta kind of just get that number up a little bit, just a little bit. Again, it come to one hill, couple of gunfights, 2, 3, but just really playing those awkward angles and getting that rotation and setting the pace of the game is going to be important. But yeah, for Stallions, it's going to be those two players, obviously, that are kind of the best in terms of KD and the worst. But on Strike X side, again, it's still for Hardpoint. It's 0.84. It's Wand. But we saw how hot Wand has been playing from that last game. It's just got to carry that over into this week, of course. And he's doing just that. So Wand into this Hardpoint is going to be the one that I'm going to be looking at. So Wand, and then, of course, Fame. 2.64? What?
Nuts.
That's not even on the leaderboard. Is that right?
I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. Yeah, I don't think that's right. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think that's right at all.
Where's my glasses?
But what we can say is that for Strike X, outside of Gunzy, who boasts the best KD and Hardpoint for his team, in general, this is not a team that's going to outslay you, but they will fill those lanes, and they like to clog the lanes to make it as difficult as possible to rotate. So they find ways to pull off gunfights one at a time, to where you're not hitting consistently as a full group onto a new hill. So for Stallions, you got to come in and kind of play the way you did in that S&D, right? Working together. Obviously, I mean, that is 101. But also for Strike X, there needs to be more consistency from your Slayer. So until we get to that point, we are waiting for one player to connect. We apologize for the delay. We're going to have to throw it to commercial break. When we come back, we will have the conclusion of this series and the Game 4 of Berlin Hardpoint on your screens. Don't go anywhere. All right, folks, welcome back from the break. We apologize for the inconvenience, but honestly, we just want to watch some Call of Duty, so that's exactly what we're going to do. Welcome into Strike X for Stallions. This is map 4, game 4. That's the same exact thing, but it's Berlin Hardpoint. Let's get into the action.
And right off the break, I mean, it's Stallions. Kind of in that, well, what looked to be that driving seat for just a second, but the huge rotational kills from Cryptic is going to be very important as he works this dock side, and as he waits for his teammates, that's what essentially he should do. Gonna have the flood and the pinch come on from the front and the back, but 2 real falls, and Cryptic, oh my goodness, does punch out Gunsy, but it is Fame with the hold, and Uli with the slays. Sean, I will tell you what, a lot of pressure comes on to Ramby, but still, there's not a lot of time still, regardless, to think about that, as they're gonna have to work that rotation to just eventually. You see kind of Stallions have the control of that side of the map. They're working it.
I mean, I love that we started this hill with 4 stacked inside, but as things quickly divulge into madness, and so far, it's left up to the hour to do up the dirty work and pick up the scraps. I mean, 2 Real and Kaiser combining for 3, so they'll get the break there. Look at the additional time as well. 12 seconds to go. We hit that rotation. Top side of your minimap already. Player number 6, it's Yuli. He's got to stay alive and try to lock spawns, but he's got really nowhere to go. And nice job by Ramby to sniff that out quickly. But early on into the point, it's Strike X yet again. They're inside for the moment. And it looks like they potentially could get the early time. Never mind. The spawns are there. Ramby's inside. And Stallions have a moment.
Huge opening nade from Uli, though, on that dock side is going to basically allow a flood to come on through. And, of course, the kills for Stallions do come on in. And now they actually have flipped the script. So 2 down from Kaiser, zone forward, and that's just it. That's all they have to do for the hold here. But Strike X able to get some kills in from the front, do clear out right at how back. So not the best hold, Sean. You mentioned how that's exactly what Stallions need to do, but Kaiser still kind of lingering around the front, is streaking out. And still 18 seconds left. Does fight for the scrap and falls. So huge kills again from Stallions. They have the rotations yet again. But this time around, let's see if they can hold it for the whole time. Juan looking to break.
It's Gunsy through the back. Train yard's a big one. You can get a lot of time here. You chain it into a money hill, great. If you contest it, even better. 70 and counting. Into the break we go. Gunsy, the first one inside, but a couple of trades do come out. And with all of that happening, it's Fame last up, but Kaiser wins the gunfight. Now in for the moment. Stallions walk away with numbers, but Hill there for Strike X. So they'll take the advantage off that trade. Juan for 2 and Ramby for the 3rd. And finally, a clean hold inside. Never mind. Everybody else falls. And that's usually what happens. If you don't get a clean break, you're basically just playing wall-to-wall gunfights, and then someone gets the final 10. A double nade from Fame clears out again. I mean, we have traded hands on this hardpoint 3, 4, 5, 6 times. 2-roll trying to work his way in, gets shut down.
You know what's driving me nuts about this is both teams, eventually, they have a position to where they can hold it too the whole time. So I'm like, how are both teams easily breaking each other? But as I say that, there it happens again. So Cryptic clears everybody off the point, and now it's Stallions that have control over this P5 Scrappy Hill. 2 Real dancing around it. Gunsy, again, takes him down. So now that's all members of Strike X off the point, and still, it's just Kaiser there in that mailroom area. He's going to work the stairs with Ramby, kind of do the dance. And again, just very scrappy. And ultimately, Sean, no team's really remaining in control. It's just really the name of the game at this hill to keep him off the point. Gunsy just does kind of that, roaming around.
Sub's starting to fry a little bit. Yuli picks up 2 on the initial. That's 4 in a row for Yuli. Early hill time here for Stallions. 15 seconds, though. Again, we're going to hit that rotation over back to P1. Who's going to be there first? It looks like Stallions will have the initial and the hold. Quickly contested, though, on a quick foot. It's Stallions working through the back. 2 Real on your screen. Maybe for the second. Gunsy will fall. That's a big 2 kills. Slows down the first push. Strike X have to regroup for numbers, but they're getting cut down as quickly as they get 3 up. 102 and counting. Lead here for Stallions. Time here for Stallions as well.
It is so, and 2 Real getting flooded from the front. Gunsy able to take down 2, but still, take down 2, and that's Stallion members that are not around the point. So finally rotating back, Uli does take down Gunsy, but still not before he's able to get a few seconds in. Rotations not coming in just yet. Still 25 seconds left. Stallions remain to hold. And it's Juan still flooding in from train station. Does manage to kind of stay alive, but again, the problem if you're Stallions here is the rotations essentially, but still, they are getting the kills. Rotations right now in favor of Strike X do have it in, and the flood comes in the front. Uli looking to try to find an opening pick, and Ramby that dockside could remain troublesome, and also Gunsy's in the stairs, but still Uli going off. 5 streak, by the way, does get tagged up and stays alive. Can he get those streaks?
That might help things. Certainly it would on Trainyard if they get to that point, but with a 50-point lead, you'd hope that your subs continue to get the pressure outside of the hard point. It's 2 real, works around tank, and that nade will take him out of position. There's one. Yuli looking for the second, but into the hill we go. It's Cryptic, quickly cut down. Gunsy for 3. And Ramby on your screens. As quickly as we switch over back and forth, it just seems that we trade hands in this hard point, but every single time, it's Stallions who walk away with that last hold. And every single time it's 15, 20 seconds. That does add up over the course of a hard point. So far we go. 16 seconds still on this one. Rotation, top side of your map, number 3, it's Ramby. He's going to have to start making the move.
Indeed it is. And Stallions, although this could be good if you're Strike X. They are on rotation, but you see 2 real in fire just waiting for his teammates. Gunsy doesn't actually spot him just yet. He does, but still 2 real stays alive and rotates over and gets the kill onto Juan. So now Gunsy has 4 members of Stallions pushing that dockside. And now, can they stop the push? The contest comes in. Gunsy still trying to fight everybody. Manages to take out 1. And then again, how on earth is Strike X still alive at this point? Gunsy stayed alive long enough to at least contest a little bit, but still, back and forth we go. Fame gets 3, and it's Strike X who are able to hold. There's 20 seconds left on this point, Sean. I don't... This is just such an interesting game for me, but still, Stallions are just essentially doing what they need to do to secure every last second.
Yeah, I'd give up these last 7, and I would just rotate. I know you want to play for the scrap and get yourself closer and closer, but you have to win the train. You didn't do it last time. There's the opening from Gunsy. Juan close around. Working in tandem, trying to break open through the right side. But Kaiser's in front. Quickly for this world, he will fall. Gunsy escapes. He'll get cut down. These are just such awkward gunfights on the outskirts that no one's gotten a clean hold inside the point. These POVs are dropping so quickly. It's been scrappy. It's been unorthodox, but in the end, it's still a lead for Stallions. No one inside the point for now. Finally, Strike X seem to work their way in. They're going to build some time here with 30 seconds to go. You have to find a contest if you're Stallions. Starting to lose the gunfights on the outside. That's 4 dead. Finally a breakup, but I think the damage is done on this hill.
Oh, for sure. And Ramby and Wand are huge right here because they've been zoning forward and pushing the train station and kind of just being annoying the whole entire time. Stallions had a really hard time trying to break this or even get forward because they couldn't. So now only, 8 seconds left. Strike X essentially potentially have a lead change here, and Fame still not dying. And now... Again, you see Gunsy all the way over on that lobby side. Like, Strike X has an opportunity just to collapse onto this point, and that's exactly what's happening. 2 members down fall for Stallions, and it's Strike X now that have the lead change, hitting that 200-point mark to 183 for Stallions.
This is a big P5. This one really could decide the end of this game. For Strike X, it's 1 hold. For Stallions, you need a hill and a break. Here comes the push from the front. Early on, the kills there for Stallions. The positioning there for Stallions as well. Cryptic, big win on a Fame. But you need numbers inside. You need to start getting some time. We've already burned about 30. 20 seconds to go, and Strike X are still inside. Churil gets cut. That's 4 dead. Nobody can win it here. We're going to another hard point.
Indeed, we are. And Cryptic already set up on the rotation. Does take out Fame, but now Stallions, they can run away with this if they can get set up, but still. Gunsy in the back. Could do some damage. He's got to wait for his teammates. His teammates need to flood in from the front, and they're clearing the kills. The spawn's flipped to that back lobby area, and again, Fame, I was going to say, maybe can do something, but still, all members of Strike X fall. Now it's the Stallions back in the driving seat. 2 Real's going to push out fire, try to get some being annoying dockside. Does fall in again. Sean, this is going to essentially put us to that 30-point mark if Stallions can hold, but it's really going to be P2 that's going to matter. Can they hold? StrikeX still pushing this, and it helps when Cryptic is on a 5 spree, that's for sure.
Well, they are double stacking, and you'll peel one off the play. That's Two-Real who will escape out to mid-map, and you're hoping he can regroup with Ulysses for a potential final hold. You play a 2-on-3 on the push, you get numbers, maybe spawns are close, so you continue to flood. Even here, though, it's these final couple of kills that do worry me. StrikeX now need to get on a position, and they need to start just flying towards the point. Fame's going to use a streak, so this glide bomb will clear out maybe dockside, maybe not. Into the point we go. Does it get anywhere close? It doesn't connect. This is where your subs have to start making a play. It's Gunzy inside for 1, Gunzy for 2. There's the break from StrikeX, 231 to 227. They might have done enough to hold off, and they need one more push. Stallions have one extra push, and if they don't get it, this game's done.
Yep, 10 seconds left remain, and look at that. It is going to come in. Fame, huge kill onto Two-Real. Realistically, the only one left alive is Kaiser. He's going to have to slide on through, but he doesn't. That is it. That is the game. StrikeX, win it and take it. 250 to 227.
Wow. The number 8 team takes it over Stallions in a 3-1 fashion in this series. They win the opening hardpoint. They win the control. They win the following hardpoint. The biggest question was, could they put the pieces together? Could they put it together in the respawns? I think the answer is yes. They put it together in the respawns, and they win themselves a series 3-1 over Stallions. And what does that do now to the standings in the groups? Ellen, looking at the series layout, talk to me.
Oh, man. That was such a weird series. And you know what? I think I figured it out. In certain situations, both teams, I feel like, were always in a position to where they could just completely dominate. And it's like they just kept breaking each other. It was so interesting and so weird to see. But on Berlin, that really, you could see it. In the driving seat, it felt like Stallions had it. They had control, early rotations a couple of times. And then, in other situations where, okay, StrikeX would get broken, there was always one player that stayed alive. And we saw it, Gunzy did it in fire, and it's like they were never able to capitalize on it, but both teams kept rotating doing that. So StrikeX, well-deserved win, much-needed win, I must say, but I still just this game was overall just really, really close every single map. That's
the name of the series. It's really how it came down to 250 to 235, game 1, game 4, 250 to 227. These hard points never felt like one team clearly had control. There were a couple of breaks that certainly swung some of the perspective, but everything else essentially even throughout. And you look at the S&D went to round 11. The control went to round number 5. We didn't even get to see the final search and destroy. But StrikeX, surprising pretty much everybody. And it was not that this team wasn't capable of it, but just looking at the standings as a whole, they move it now up to, 2-3? In the series count, and that just means that they have now caused a headache for Stallions, who have to figure out how in the world they manage their spot, as UYU is still in 4th. Stallions have yet to update in the rankings, but all of a sudden, StrikeX, they're trying to just fight for top 6.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I got word, I think, on their series too. Bear Claw's up 2-0. So it's like you still don't have an easy road. Obviously, this is a huge win, but they gotta take the mistakes. Excuse me, Bear Claw, I guess, won 3-1 on their series. So yeah, it's not gonna get easier.
Yep.
Take whatever you can from this series, but still, you gotta clean it up because again, that was the number 5 seed. You still got really strong teams ahead of you. So.
Yeah, and it's gonna be interesting. I mean, StrikeX now moved to 2-3 in series count, so we'll see how that kind of changes around the standings because they have whatever it takes above them and Ultra Academy above them. So until we get to that point, we find out how the updated leaderboards look. We will throw it to a commercial break. When we come back, we continue on with the final match of the night for North America. You don't want to miss it. See you guys in a minute. It's stage 2 for the Challengers Elite Series for North America, day number 3. I'm Spaceman, that's Dream Crazy, and this is the final match of the night. Ultra Academy, right? The team that we've all expected to potentially meet the same caliber that the European brothers have had. Well, they quite haven't been there. UYU on the other side, though, an interesting squad. Ellen, talk to me through the standings. We get them on your screen now. UYU vying for a top 4 spot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you take a look at this. Okay. 5th, UIU, 2 and 3, whatever it takes, 2 and 3, Infamous 2 and 3. Oh my goodness! And Strike X, look what that brought them. So we did the little flip around. That loss for the Stallions brought them down to 8th, and Ultra Academy 1 and 4 now. So obviously this is a huge must win for Ultra Academy for UIU. But as we take a look at this, man, Texas Nation and Bear Claw haven't even lost yet, Sean.
Yep. I mean, they've dropped maps, sure, but they currently sit respectively 1st and 2nd. And you look at how that last series went. Strike X literally go from last place in the Elite Series up to 6th in the standings, currently 2 and 3 in their record, and Stallions 1 and 4. It very much comes down to how Ultra Academy do, because you're basically hoping for not 8th, you're hoping for 7th, but Ultra Academy going into this versus UIU, this is going to be an interesting matchup, because Ultra Academy have on paper a roster that you'd expect to compete for top 3, maybe even against Texas Nation, but they just haven't been able to put it together. A sentence we have said many, many times today. For UYU on the other side, a roster of Challengers veterans, players that you know by name alone, who have consistently been within that top 4 conversation, trying to do the same thing here in 5th place. Can they get up a couple of slots? Ellen, talk to me a little bit about UIU, what they bring to the table, and the power of that squad.
I mean, this is a squad that obviously, again, I mean, I was just going to touch base Toronto Academy. Yes, they've had essentially a tough board. I mean, the only win that they had was against Strike X, and then Bear Claw, they did take it to map 5. So if you want to say that, hey, Bear Claw 2nd place, you have the potential to do that, they haven't hit their ceiling yet. This is a team that newly formed. So on the other side of UIU, they essentially have been a core 3 even last stage, and now they have that addition of Gentroid. So, as you look at this squad, this is going to be fairly hard if you're Toronto Ultra Academy. But as you take a look, UIU, that consists of Rex, Johnny, Phantoms, and Gentroid. And they have the 5th current placing, of course. As we said, it's 2 and 3. And the top performer for this one, Phantoms, a 1.03 overall KD. And the thing with the UIU, sometimes they can play a little bit too passive against Bear Claw specifically. Bear Claw capitalized on that. So if you have a situation, of course, don't get caught up. Play aggressive, stay on your game, and set up Johnny for success. Because I tell you, when he pops off, especially with that sub in hand, especially on Gavutu, if we play it, you don't want to go against UIU on Gavutu. Trust me.
Gavutu might be in the cards tonight, depending on how many maps we've seen and how many different times we've seen it in that control spot. But speaking of teams in this matchup, Ultra Academy on a similar front have to be careful of playing a little bit too passive, because they have so much in their roster they can work with, and really the cachet of these players knows no bounds. Viku, Mohawk, Hixie, and Scrappy. You have North American champions in Mohawk. Hixie, who played for Elevate all of last year. I mean, he knows his way around a team that can compete for a championship. Viku, who won it with Mavericks. Scrappy, who's really turned up as of late. Again, this is a team that is vying to get out of around that top 7 spot. They are trying to make themselves within that top 4 conversation. And you look at the way that Ultra Academy have been able to push themselves through this season. Well, it hasn't been the cleanest, right? And there's a reason they sit in the position they're in. You'd expect them to have played better, and it comes down to me for Hixie needing to improve, because he is one of the standout subs last season in Cold War. I think his transition's been a little bit rough, but he was picked up to a CDL roster for a reason. Hixie is very good, but he has to have a better showing if this team wants any chance to try to make it towards that playoff bracket.
Oh, yeah, no, agreed. And for what it's worth, Hixie right now, he's still at least popping off in control. But yeah, just in overall terms of Hardpoint, definitely needs to bring those numbers up to match, especially when you got Mohawk, who's at a Hardpoint only, 1.11, and then Scrap at a 1.2. So yeah, for sure, this is a team that I feel like, again, they're newly formed. They haven't fully hit that ceiling yet, but individually on paper, all of these players are monsters. So they'll get the recipe for success. They just have, you just need time sometimes with those things, you know, again, with all these squads, all the roster changes that happen all the time in the challenger scene, even it's just, it's very difficult to build on that chemistry if you don't have that time. So either which way, this is where to do it. These next 3 weeks, obviously these last 3 weeks have been really important, and you know, things can change. We've seen that, and Vanguard, we've seen that. You can flip the script just as easily. So as we go into this, as one thing that I've learned today, Sean, predictions out the window. You just clear-headed, level-headed, just whatever. Clean slate.
Yeah, clean slate.
That's it.
Across the board, can't predict much. 0.81 in Hardpoint for Hixie, by the way. So a guy who's used to being around like that 0.9810 KD ratio, right now struggling a bit. But for the biggest challenge in this series, let's talk a little bit about the parallels in this, because I look at Phantoms on UYU, I look at Mohawk right now on Ultra Academy, and I say for both those ARs, I mean, just for how series past, years past have played out, clearly, those are standout AR players, and if they do not do what they do as well as they do it in this series, it could be very difficult for their team to overcome that challenge. Mohawk was in the conversation for a top 3 AR player, maybe the best in North America after their finals finished last year, and Phantoms on the other side. Been watching this kid play since New Jersey locals with Simp. Like, he knows how to play that position. He's done it time and time again on UT Crew, on UYU. What are the keys to victory for UYU going into this? Is it as simple as an AR player taking over?
Yeah, I really feel like, I mean, of course, and depending on the map sets and everything, like, it's just really realistically about those ARs. I mean, across the board. I mean, but I say that, and we're going to a Bocage, so, or Bocage, tomato, potato. You know what I'm saying. You know what it is. Bocage, first map. Yeah, now that's gonna be about the subs. So I'm really on the side of UAU. I'm looking at Johnny, man. Like, every time I see this guy, he's getting 2-3 pieces. Like, he's amazing with the sub once he gets going. So I'm this first map, at least I'm gonna be looking at that. If we make it to the Gavutu control, now that's a different story. But as we go into this Bocage, yeah, it's gonna be it's that scrappy. It's the scrappy cage, man. Really going to be looking at Johnny, though, for UAU.
We've managed to push the Gavutu out of the control and down to the Hardpoint. So we're kind of slowly moving it down the list, which is nice. And we have taken that spot, put in a Berlin for the S&D and Tuscan control. Of course, will be our Game 3, followed up with the same map if necessary for a final Game 5. However, starting off on Bocage Hardpoint, this is going to be a little bit interesting because it really comes down to, I think you're correct, how well the subs play, obviously, with how dangerously mixy this map can get. For Ultra Academy, Hixie is my key. Going into this matchup alone, if Hixie has a standout game, if he can take the pressure off the ARs who can literally just work as mobile artillery units in the back and try to cut off players as they rotate into the hardpoint, things get easier for sure. But the way that Scrappy's been playing, the way that V-Cool's been playing, Hixie has to continue to step up. And if Scrappy just has a consistent bar average game, all of a sudden, this team becomes scary. Again, a lot like other rosters we've seen today, they have just struggled to put it together. Looking at the first 2 maps, though, when it comes to the layout of this series, when it comes to favorable sides, who are you taking in this first 2? Do you think we could potentially see our first 2-0 of the day?
Oh, man.
You must answer.
I don't know. I can't answer it. I can't answer it, man. Because every time, I think, and it's like, I don't know. It's something crazy happens. You know what I mean? Like, this game is so unpredictable. But I can tell you that, at least in terms of Bocage, UIU has played against it. They played Bear Claw on it, and they did lose. Of course, we know that. So, I mean, there's really nothing to go on. I mean, it's really going to be all about that sub pressure, getting those rotational kills. I mean, I'm going to be seeing, I Dylan Rex too. Don't count on that guy because, man, the auto in his hand, no matter that or a sub, you always see him popping off as well on rotations. So, yeah, I don't know, Sean. I don't know. I can't say it today because when I think I know the answer, I'm like, man, then it's opposite. I don't want to jinx the teams, man.
Even when you think it now, it reverses. Again, welcome to being a caster. We're happy to have you. But when we look at the series layout, is this the first time we've seen Bocage on our screens for us in a game 1 hardpoint? I feel like we haven't seen it yet. Now, it could be Blast. That's probably the case, but we've rarely seen Bocage. We've seen Tuscan. We've seen Berlin. I feel like we have not seen Bocage as a game 1 hardpoint. This is now what we're latching on to because we want change, and we're getting it. But Ellen, this is a series that very much will be dependent on. It feels like we said this all today, but the respawns. It's going to be dependent on the control. Of course, the game 1 to kind of set the tone. But let's talk a little bit about the S&D, because both these squads, essentially on paper and in game, who have proven it, stacked S&D wise. Players that you think will stand out going into game 2 as we take a look at some of the S&D leaderboards so far in North America, as again, Havoc continues to sit in that number 1 spot. But is there any of these players who sit outside the top 5, anybody on either side that you're looking at to have an impact in this series?
Realistically, like, okay, it's just like across the board, it's just there's inconsistencies everywhere. Like in Search and Destroy, okay, UIU is even, right? In terms of map count and mode combos.
Sure.
It's been mainly Tuscan. It's mainly been Tuscan, and they took it twice and they lost it once. And then same with Bocage, so it's like a 1-on-1 type of thing. It's even across the board with both, and then Berlin really being that extra like weird factor. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to expect with these two, and that's kind of the mystery behind it. You know, we kind of were like predicting and giving those analyses early on the squads that we had, but you know, we kind of know overall KDs and picks and how each other's players play, but we know what's at stake for both teams. Like we saw the leaderboards, they both know exactly what's on that, and this is just such a momentum type of game that anything can happen at any given point. It's really about who's going to capitalize on those mistakes, who's going to run away with the lead, and eventually, of course, playing together, applying pressure, baiting and trading each other. Who's going to do it better? And with both squads, I mean, it's just there's so much on the line in terms of standings. So I think they all know that. All these guys know that. And individually, again, I think personally, again, they're amazing. They're good players. But who is going to have that factor to show up the most when it matters? This match right now, this matters. Last week was like, all right, we're warming up and everything, but no, this matters because playoffs is next week. Got to get that top 4 spots. Got to secure your spot for stage 3, and they know what's at stake. So I don't know. That's the mystery behind it, baby. We don't know. This is the we don't know. We want to paint a picture, but don't you guys? I love a good mystery, don't you?
Yeah, that's essentially our jobs these days with COD, with how back and forth they can be. But I'm just looking at some of the Hardpoint leaderboards, and more importantly, just kind of the results from Season 1, because again, it is nice to take a quick look back in time and see how a lot of these players were able to work through these maps early on in the meta. Mohawk and Scrappy specifically. I mean, just looking at the recent performances in Hardpoint, you look at, they started on a win and a win, and Gavutu and Tuscan back-to-back. You're thinking, okay, things are working, and then it's been a string of L's, just consistent losses. Gavutu, a stretch of Berlins, a Gavutu and a Tuscan. Non-stop dropped hard points. That does scare me a little bit, especially when we go to Bocage, where it's essentially up in the air at this point. It is a little bit uncertain with how this map might play out, and if Scrappy and Mohawk are unable to find their footing, of course, that does scare me, but what doesn't is knowing that we're in the capable hands of Shane and John. These boys are two of the best in the business. They are some of the most talented observers we've ever had the pleasure of working with in Call of Duty. If they didn't do our job, we couldn't do ours, so we thank them for doing it so damn well. We love you, boys. Thank you so much. Ellen, this one's going to get interesting. This could be a very, very chaotic game 1. I'm excited for the Hardpoint.
Yeah, no, me too. As we jump into this, like I said, I don't know what to expect. I do, but I don't at the same time, because this game has just been crazy with the predictions and everything going kind of crazy. Kind of happened this past weekend, even with the CDL teams and some wins and losses. We're like, what the heck? So kind of the same thing over here, man. Some of these teams, this is like this week, it's like, whoa, on paper, looks like what should happen. But the exact opposite happens. So, really important. We know and love the Bocage.
You feel the energy? You feel the energy, Ellen?
I feel the energy. I always feel the energy. I'm just, patiently waiting. And here we go. We're starting it off. Last match of the night. UIU Ultra Academy. Hixie we're hopping on board with, and let's go, baby. Stuns in, Scrap with the first blood, and Hixie with a nice break. Thinking about that barn, pushing through Phantoms. He doesn't spot him, though. UIU able to at least keep him off the point. No teams get time.
You're going to want to keep it contested in the cage early on. Into the opening hard point, about 35 seconds still to fight over, but it's Scrappy inside. And he's been a standout for this Ultra Academy roster, boasting one of the better KDs across the board in Respawn, but he's going to need that similar performance here going into the start of this series if they want to walk away with an early lead. It's Vico on your screens who is able to work his way through Barn, and yet again, we'll find an opening kill, but over towards the tank we go. Early setup, it's UIU, and early with the kills, it's Ultra Academy.
Indeed it is, and Jintroid realistically can maybe kind of do a little bit of damage here as he works top barn, does able to get a huge kill on the Mohawk, and does get 2 on the vehicle, so now that's UIU who clear it from the front. Now all they gotta do is hurry up and flood on in, and even though Dylan Rex does get a teammate on Johnny, it's number 8 Hixie in the back, and the rest of his teammates flooding on in through the front.
How often we see so many players drop, but it's getting a little bit contested on the outside. So far, the sub's starting to light up the kill feed up to Jintroid now. Can he find anything on the entry? Yes, he's good for 1, but he'll have to hop off with no one else in support. That nade might do enough damage to cause a break, but as Hixie respawns on 2, it's Phantoms and Johnny who do drop, and now Jintroid trying to work his way through 3 players of Ultra Academy, but nothing will really come of it. 25 seconds and counting, still about 20 to fight over before you look at that rotation. P3 will pop momentarily, but we look at the minimap, the top side where the rotation might come through. It's all purple for the moment. Ultra Academy doing a very nice job of finding the kills and rallying them out to a hold at mid-map.
And that's the pressure that we kind of talk about. UIU, when that starts to be applied to them, they have this tendency to kind of get a little bit scrappy and scattered a little bit. So yeah, ultimately, they just really need one good hold to get back into the lead. And, you know, you see Vico kind of roaming in the back here. They didn't actually clear out the back and no, but Johnny does spot him. Oh my God, the shots from Vico, almost able to take down Johnny, but gets away with his life. And while that's happening, his teammates are flooding through the front. Ultra Academy able to at least clear off the point, and Johnny does get taken down. Vehicle huge for them. Ultra Academy now scrappy, but still have control over the point of Grandma's.
Yeah, he's working in tandem with Scrappy to be able to break through the front. So Vico staying alive and playing his life not only helps for spawns, but you're thinking about 2 hills ahead at this point. And that rally cry, that extra effort from Vico will be paying dividends. You do have a streak if you need it, but the hold inside for Ultra Academy has been uncontested. Finally, one player will move through. It's Johnny, but doesn't even get a chance to whiff the hard point. He's gone. Here comes Dylan Rex now for a potential challenge, but Vico on a 4 spree of his own. So far, this has been clinical hard point from Ultra Academy. Not a lot of pressure through the sides. That's thanks to the AR. It's pushed out towards tank. Mohawk does drop thanks to Dylan Rex's 2-piece, but in this situation, you're more than happy to give up the kills because it means you get the time. Vico's still on your screen, rotating into the point. He's inside. He's got players in front. He's got support. It's not such a bad break through the side.
No, indeed. And that was kind of tough if you were Vico there. I was hoping that he would get out and maybe work the back, play those streaks a little bit longer, but still, Ultra Academy, not a bad hold, and UIU do manage to rotate early, and Zinjani obviously pushing out forward. Could be set up for success here if they get every single kill. So now, this could be a potential close to a lead change, but it's ultimately Ultra Academy still kind of just contesting that middle part, and 19 seconds left remain. Ultra still have the spawns for new, so ultimately they just need a hold here. Maybe give up the scrap, back up a little bit, and you see player number 5 and 7 doing just that. Huge gunfights do ensue, and it's Ultra Academy that win the important ones. The rotation is secured, the scrap is secured, and now UIU is trapped in that back stables area, and Mohawk recognizes it.
We double stack into the river, so we go to our final hill on our first rotation, but Ultra Academy can get peppered with nades, but they cross the 100-point mark before that begins to happen. 9 and 9 for Vico, but those 9 kills have come at such opportune times, and with Phantoms on the outskirts and Dylan Rex trying to work through the back silo, things get a little bit more interesting, but Scrap, with the automaton in hand, cuts down the action on the outside, so the subs can sit in uncontested and soak up this time. 30 seconds to go, and the lead continues for Ultra Academy, but Jintroid meets his demise very quickly, and back to the starting screen we go. Scrap will fall, but the damage is done right now. Look at all the time the Ultra Academy have soaked up on this hill. They can try to work back to P1. That's where Hixie's job becomes much more important, because then you think about tank. Then you think about Grandmas. You start thinking a couple of hills ahead. Ultra Academy have done a very, very good job at locking down these hills and keeping the gunfights in front of them, and it's paying off with Scrap's 2-piece.
Oh my God, and shout out to Scrap too for just switching between the sub and the AR, just doing it all, man, and getting exactly what he needs to do, securing the lanes and then just pushing out Barn. So realistically, Ultra Academy, knowing exactly where they are spawning, UIU, This could be devastating if you're UIU, but ultimately playing those picks, Scrap is going to linger around that barn side and stay alive. This is huge and important. He still hasn't been taken down, but finally Phantom's able to do just that. 30 seconds left remain on the point, and being set up in that barn, Phantoms get taken down, and UIU is going to look to flood through Tank's side. Dylan Rex is going to have a hell of a time here as he has all members of Ultra kind of pushing towards that side, but thank goodness UIU do spawn in the back stables. UIU looking to hold. Scrap looking to disrupt. Huge kill, rotation of gunfight for Scrap.
Even with the retaliation at the 50-yard line from UIU, Ultra Academy find a way back into the action. And more importantly, they're in position to potentially contest this next hardpoint. So even if they don't get the early opening time, that big chunk they can put their feet in for, it just helps slow this game down. And if you bring it down to a crawl, UIU have not proven that they can outslay their way through that situation. Scrap is just turning around corners and burning players on the site. He still has a streak if he elects to use it, but he's going to lay down and play his life. And that buys time for those close spawns to get into effect. All of a sudden, Vehicle starting to light up. 13 and 14, looking for a second to mid-map. He'll be good for it now. Everything looks a little bit better for Ultra Academy. 169, about to be 170 to 75 and counting. UIU have to get into the point. They get in, but they gotta hold Ellen. They do not have a lot of resources around, and numbers are falling very quickly, and they lose the point yet again.
Indeed, they do. And man, Vehicle is just doing such a good job at roaming around, and you see him in Grandma's just getting, essentially, he got pinched from Gintroid though. And this is huge if you're UIU. Getting this Grandma control and now flipping the script is Ultra Academy are spawning out at Old. And now the middle defenses come in. Gintroid still doing a very good job of staying alive, and Dylan Rex to follow. Now if you're Ultra Academy, you're just going to have to regroup here, play for picks. Don't start singling and funneling into one lane.
You're going to need a full 60. That's the game plan right now for UIU. You would love a full 60 on this hill. It makes the lead a little bit more manageable, sure, but you can start to chain some of these hills together and get back into this game, even if it's just contest time, even if it's just scrap time. It really has to come down to the subs. Gintroid has to make a play inside now. Can he find Vehicle? Yes. Is anybody around to help? Sure, we can double stack if we need to, but we just need someone in and around the stairs. Here comes Dylan Rex, but Scrap again with another two-piece, 26 and 19. Every single time UIU start to get set up, it's Scrap who finds his way inside, picks players apart, and just continues to make UIU's life hell when they try to get themselves set up inside the point. Not even talking about what Mohawk's been able to do with the AR. We look at the rotation over to P4. This is a very...
Indeed it is. Oops, sorry.
Sure we get our feedback in there.
I was going to say, indeed it is. I'm sorry. I thought I cut you off there, Sean.
No, you're good. I thought I just hard crashed. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. 217 to 108, though. Regardless, it is Ultra Academy able to hold on. As I say that, Dylan Rex on a 5 streak does break, but regardless, that was the plan, right? Ultra Academy flipped the script, had them spawning in that back grandma area, and they were already set up for the barn. So now, as the flood comes on in from the grandma's side, it's UIU still contesting from the front. Johnny just went huge for the stop, and my goodness, zoning around the point. UIU still managed to hold on, but it's that rotation that Ultra Academy still hold on to.
Well, I mean, can you even break him from the back? That's really the only way you're going to be able to break this hill. Can you contest for that final few seconds? Dylan Rex working towards Riverside. He's got Scrap in front, but Scrap is winning at range. Doesn't matter if he has a sub, automaton. You need a breaker for UIU, and you need it now. You need players inside the point. Here comes Phantoms for one. There's the trade inside, but the number's still here for Ultra Academy. And Dylan Rex working with UIU to get into the point. They desperately need time, and they finally get a break towards the Riverside. It's not going to slow down, but it will help mitigate some of that bleeding. Ellen, it just comes down to these transitional kills at mid-map.
Yeah, indeed it does. And I mean, look at that problem there. Vehicle just cuts right through 3 of them. Ultra Academy only need to hold every single second to win it here. This will definitely put them close. Can UIU stop this, though? That is the question. The flood is going to come on through, and Gintoy does take down Scrap, but Hixie's there for the trade and takes down 2 himself. Make it 3. Make it easy. 1 guy left remains. Phantom's able to stop, but that's only 5 points left for Ultra Academy.
It's 1 break. You get one hold if you're UYU. Sorry it's come down to this, but you got to play perfect hardpoint. We've asked a lot out of you up until this point. You've met some of those challenges. There's the break. There's the hold. You got to contest. Finally, UYU get their feet inside. But Ultra Academy just got to put one more member in. Dylan Rex denying the finality of this game up until this point. UYU have numbers around. They got 36 seconds they can soak up. All of a sudden, this looks a little bit more manageable. They're able to find the kills on the outside. They're winning their gunfights, but Scrap wins his, and he does it just in time. Ultra Academy win game number 1 on Bocage, 250 to 165.
Oh, man. And that was getting a little bit close there for UIU, but definitely it felt like Ultra Academy was in the driving seat the whole time. And I mean, man, Vico, like, he was having one hell of a time. He just running around, getting 3 pieces left and right. But my goodness, Ultra Academy overall, early on with those rotations, picking up just huge kills. I mean, we saw Hixie doing it as well. Huge step up, like we mentioned from last week, doing just that. Ultra Academy, I feel like that was a really clean game from them.
It certainly was. They were able to hold River essentially 90% of the time. When they needed to find a break, hold spawns to the back, they were able to do so thanks to those subs. Hixie stepping up with a massive 3-piece when called upon. Everything else essentially played even, and those transitional kills really favored Ultra Academy, especially when things start to get scrappy. No pun intended. How often was he finding himself in the mix of things, finding 2 kills, 3 kills? He was a standout in this game. If he just plays average, you're probably going to have a good result for Ultra Academy. We needed the subs to step up. We needed the ARs just to do their job. Ultra Academy did all of that and more.
Yeah, and then some, for sure. Like, every time you saw, whether it was Hixie, whether it was Vico, 3 pieces, just even right there. Like, every single time. And as we take a look at the stat line even, I mean, they all essentially took turns streaking out. I mean, over 30 kills across the board. Dylan Rex on the side of UIU is the only one there, but ultimately, yeah, they did such a good job. And even so, in situations where it looked like that UIU could have run away with it, of course, it's Ultra Academy just capitalizing on those mistakes and kind of just running, like, again, just controlling the pace of the map the whole entire time.
49 untraded kills between Scrap and Mohawk in that hardpoint, 34 and 27 and 32 and 21. That is the Mohawk we saw last season. This is the Scrap we've seen this season. This is the danger of Ultra Academy, and it's such a surprise that they just have struggled to put all of this together. I mean, look at the stat line, Alan. Everybody, your worst player is 25 and 25. Like, this is the team we expected to see on paper.
Yeah, no, for sure. And again, sometimes those things just take a little bit of time, Sean. That's it. They just needed a little bit more time to work out the kinks, to get that chemistry going. And absolutely, whatever between last week and this week, I mean, that's it. They just need to close out the series now. That's just it. Close it out. But yeah, this is scary. This is scary. Because if they keep that consistency, then, like, oh my goodness, at the end of the day, I don't want to see the leaderboards. Like, I'm so curious to see at the end of the day and leading forward. But so far, so good for Ultra. It's going into map 2. Excited. I'm excited.
I'm looking forward to the S&D, and I'm more importantly looking forward to the series layout because I know that Berlin is going to be nuts. We have yet to really see this one play out, let alone the start of a series, very rarely in a Game 2 slot, but already Ultra Academy proving that in the respawns they look poised, and the S&D, who knows? Upcoming, it's the Game 2, followed by a Tuscan Control, then of course Gavutu Hardpoint, and then if needed, Tuscan S&D. At this point in the series, I'm not going to call anything because Caster Curse is so relevant. But UYU, sub-wise, maybe they escape with that on this map. Berlin can be hit or miss. However, with the precision that Ultra Academy had in that hardpoint, Berlin, you get first blood, especially when trying to retake on some of these sites. It can be as difficult as playing on Desert Siege.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct, especially that dock side, right? Like, as soon as you get that bomb down at that B point, like, it's lights out. You get set up on the warehouse side and just favor that side of the map. It's really hard to take down members of that, and players usually anticipate that. So, yeah, in those positions where those weird angles are very hard, and it's going to be really hard to see how teams capitalize on that. Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there. Where I was going with that, but yes, very similar to Desert Siege. I'm really going to be anticipating those fast plants, B site, and setting up back warehouse, of course. We see that all the time, but sometimes we see aggressive A pushes as well. I've seen UIU in the past just kind of work that train station, aggressively hit on in, get the bomb down, and then maybe even push through lobby side and work the back and maybe wrap all the way to B. So no matter how you play it, of course, it's situational. I'm going to, of course, be looking at those first picks. Mohawk has a very high tendency to do that. Of course, all players actually of Ultra I've seen like scrappy, aggressive plays. Like, just depends on how, of course, they're going to play it. But regardless, I don't know. I don't even want to do predictions anymore because at this point, I feel like I'm just cursing all the teams. I don't want to hear I'm cursing teams. I feel like I am, but nah, I don't know. I don't know. Ultra Academy from last week to this week, just even so, just look really scary right now.
You know, a lot of the times those first bloods do come down to position in the pillars around the site for sure, around that P1. But even then, like the ARs, and we're not even talking about just the parallel battle. We're talking about, you know, when trades are starting to go down. If you have an AR who's constantly in a position to pick up a kill on a cross or find two maybe on a trade, that could really change the way a lot of these rounds play out. And I just want to see how those small gunfights eventually enact themselves. But at this moment in time, it's a 1-0 series lead for Ultra Academy. They're pretty good in the respawn. UIU certainly had their moments and their stretches, but it just didn't seem like they were quite able to put everything together in the moment to be able to hold off the wave and the assault that Ultra were putting on them. For Phantoms and Johnny, I mean, in S&D, I'm never going to bet against them. These guys are absolutely insane. Same with Rex and Jintroid. This whole team, both these teams in S&D are some of the best you're going to see in North America. But now is the time to prove it, Ellen. I think UIU have what it takes to be able to bring this back.
Well, I'm just kind of like, was just looking a little bit at the stats a little bit.
Sure.
Because in terms of like S&D, and I feel like if this was Ultra's plan, this was a good plan, okay? Which probably was. Get rid of Gavutu. You don't want to play UIU on that map. So it's like kind of like these maps as we go along through this combo is like, okay, we've seen them play Tuscan mainly 3 times. It's like, that was, sorry. Wrong thing I was looking at. That's like, it's like you want to play teams essentially on maps that are a little bit more mixier. That could go either way. But I don't know, man. I'm looking at this stat line, and for Berlin, we haven't seen it. Yes, Tuscan, we know 3 times. I don't know. It could go either way, but I'm just going to go off the fact of Ultra's momentum. They know what's at stake, and especially with the name behind them and everything, like what happened with last week, turning it around this week, I just feel like the pressure from that is just on their mind.
Sure.
And they're going into this with that attitude. Map by map, round by round, we're winning. And it's kind of showing across the board. So it's like, UIU, what do you do to counter that? You just kind of have to bring that same energy back.
Pressure's on the table. Do you answer the call or do you fold? That's what it comes down to, especially in week 2, with a lot of these players and a lot of these teams trying to vie for their spot in the playoff bracket. Early on, first bloods for both sides. We trade out a couple. Phantoms will drop. Vico will drop. And we already have Bomb going down today.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that fast, aggressive push towards A and that train side, and Mohawk locking it down, does get to their scrap with the trade, and now that already leaves Dylan left alive, and the bomb is down. So that pressure over at the bomb site, fast plant push from Ultra, taking it up 1-0.
And there's that small moment with Mohawk's POV where I'm thinking all of a sudden, those small in-between kills, those kills in transition, those 2 that he could pick up, exactly what we were talking about in the pregame, but he does have teammates there for support, so regardless of how that transaction goes down, Ultra Academy do get the round, Hixie for 2, and UIU going into this. With a better record overall, that opening hardpoint made it seem like Ultra Academy, this was their first day in the office, and they had that initial luck, but can they rally that into a game too? We'll see what happens. Opening spawn peak. It'll be there for Scrap. Can't hit the snipe. And he will slow down.
No, but he has the information, though. That is important. So if you have that information of how many teams, how many members cross, Ultra Academy can capitalize that. And you see Vico playing right through the middle, makes it through and picks Johnny. Able to get away with his life as well, so the trade doesn't come in. Hixie comes on in, and he's sticking the defuse. If UIU doesn't check this, which I don't think Dylan can get to it in time, you have Mohawk on the other side of docks to protect Ultra Academy. What a beautiful retake and a beautiful opening from Vikul.
And I love that. They don't know where everyone is from UIU. They don't have the eyes, so make sure you stick the defuse, get someone in position to potentially trade. If not, just block the bullets coming in. It's as simple as that. Ultra Academy, knowing what they have in front of them, taking what they're given, making the most of it for UIU. Wasn't a bad defensive hold at all. Excuse me, an offensive setup at all. But in the end, Ultra Academy make the most of the round. Spawn peek there. Scrap, I think he might have seen both, and if he did, he will give the call. And here comes Vikul right into the site. He's going to get, second blood, we'll call it. First blood for both teams.
Yeah, at least both teams got a trade. That was the smart thing. But the stun check comes in from Vikul, and Phantoms, of course, is going to run away and has Dylan on his back for that help. But the information is in from UIU that all essentially members of Ultra Academy are A. So they have 2 at A, 1 at B. Now the wrap is going to come on through, but 50 seconds left. You see Scrap kind of looking for a pick here. Is, again, getting all that information. Information is key, of course. Still, they have plenty of time for this retake towards B. Can Scrap get this pick? Gintroid, only the one to worry about, does manage to get Scrap and get away with his life.
Bomb's moving up, though, and Dylan Rex was in a position to close out that kill. Mohawk in the back has to reload. Only 7 in the clip. He gets hit with a stun, and Dylan Rex, perfect bait with the stun. Perfect positioning. UYU. Get around right back.
Oh, man, and that retake, it was almost there, but that was a really important stop. Huge stop from Gintroid, obviously. Onto Scrap. And again, it really just came down to that one pick.
Singular pick.
But just ultimately, it was a good stop from UAU. And now on the attacking side, this time, you see him flooding around towards B. Scrap, of course. How's that sniper? Let's see if he can get any information. But the stuns and the nades come out. It's really a patient game here. Gintroid just waiting to cross. Scrap sees him. And now there's Hixie for the trade.
I don't know if that was called out on that play, though. I mean, Scrap saw him in the snipe. He watched him cross, but I don't know if Hixie got that call immediately. Regardless, UIU win the round. And I was wondering why he didn't just check close right, try to find the kill. Instead, UIU capitalized, and Johnny, who works his way through fire, will cut down Mohawk for the final kill in this round. All tied up, 2 apiece.
I just wonder too, like maybe with communication there, because there was 2 people there, maybe he thought that he, I don't know. That was, I see what you're saying.
Oh, there's probably absolutely a reason.
That close right,
I was like, from our POVs, we're thinking, I mean,
it just looked
like that should be a call, and immediately Hixie should challenge, but you never know.
Well, Scrap put that sniper away, and now watching the cross with an automaton in the hand, and it looks like they're doing that again from Mimic from round 1. Vikul gets that kill onto Phantoms, and Johnny knows, but Johnny can be really huge right here if he works that flank, but Mohawk throws the nade out. Johnny stays alive, and yeah, this is going to be just a retake. UIU looking to push in 3v3.
And that nade flushes out for a little, but Vikul on the peak. Oh, just a little bit too eager to let shots ring out. Scrap, though, working up to the pillar side. If he gets a lucky time and you take down Gintroid, all of a sudden this round becomes a 3v2. You play numbers. Uh-oh. Back on up. Everybody holds their horses, takes a breather. But it's player 7. It's Johnny. He needs to confirm this kill. He won't. Mohawk shuts him down. Numbers advantage, Ultra Academy.
I don't know if I agreed with that challenge from Johnny, but I think both Dylan and Gintroid kind of rotated back a little bit because they thought that maybe there was a rotation coming through, but Ultra Academy waited long enough to plant, and now the plant comes in at A. Now the push comes in. Dylan does get a little bit of tagged in there, but Mohawk is just going to reposition himself. 30 seconds left.
Gintroid just has to turn to the right. He's got Vikul in front. He didn't see his feet. Gintroid wins 1. Vikul right on the outside. Oh, it's so good, but the positioning is just so much better. Ultra Academy survive a very close call with death. They take their 3rd round in this S&D, and Scrap with the automaton far back post will win that one. I thought Gintroid saw his feet, but Vikul was a magician down there on the dirt.
Indeed. feel like Vikol has been a magician this whole entire series.
Yeah.
He has been sneaking through lanes, and that is so smart. Especially to have that discipline if you see a person and you just sneak by. He's been doing just that. We saw it I think that was round 1 when he pushed the street side, but regardless. Now on the attacking side, UIU's kind of mimicking exactly what Ultra does, and Ultra's playing for the retake. So 4 members of Ultra play the B side, and now you're going to see the bomb is planted and Ultra playing for the retake. It's going to be Vikol looking to make things mix.
And you'd think that this 4-stack inside would hurt UIU, but it's really up to Ultra, who obviously have to make the retake and peek those wide angles. So, couple of stuns, couple of nades, and these 1v1s become easier. But Hixie almost finds 2 on the entry. But that first blood means there's 21 seconds to have to get this done. That's a second from Scrap, and Mohawk on the outskirts could play through pillars. It's Gintroid working behind. He finds 1, but it's a 3v1 up to Gintroid. He has to kill the player defusing. He won't. GG in that round, and they will stick it in time. They go for the kill instead for Ultra Academy. It pays off on the bet. 4-2, 1 round at a time. It was a good setup from UIU, but Ultra Academy played so quickly into those challenges, and they very quickly moved through them as well.
And you know what was great? Ultra's been doing this throughout the whole throughout the whole series. They're repositioning, they're retaking, and they're waiting. That is the key. Is patience, especially in search, obviously, but they're doing it in respawn as well. Like, just rotational kills, obviously, but regardless, it's just the patient factor in the repositioning.
Yep.
Vikol played that so patient in that P5 scrap area that, like, he allowed his teammates to get closer and help him get those kills. Hixie got 2, so it's like, it's crazy. Scrap opening first blood. There we go. And he repositions. Now, Vikol does the same. As soon as that kill comes through, they reposition for the play, and now the plant comes in. Even though Gintroid did get Vikol down, their scrap was for the trade.
Do you still play around the plant? I mean, the nade will flush, certainly, but the plant actually gets off in time. Oh my god, the nade connects! It's a 1v1. Dylan Rex. Sub in hand, peeks wrong, and correct angles from Ultra Academy give them the 5th round. It's about as tense as you could expect around the site, but the patience, you talk about it, Ellen. The patience from Hixie. He's a veteran in the scene for a reason. Challengers, no task he can't overcome. Match point for Ultra Academy in this game too.
Yeah, that's really like... Even being in a position, like, as soon as that first blood comes in, they capitalize. Ultra is playing just so textbook, so perfect right now. But yeah, again, patience. UIU, though, looking to answer back. Gonna have to take this round by round. This is it. If they lose this here, Ultra Academy go up 2-0. If they win, we take it to another round.
Patience is a virtue, Alan. Especially in S&D.
At Phantoms.
Great positioning as well. Oh, but he gets caught. Hixie overextending. We'll walk away with at least 1. Oh, did Dylan Rex get spotted? They might have heard him anyway. Vikol in position to take the gunfight. 22 seconds ago. Now you need a retake. And on the other side, it's Johnny who takes down Mohawk, but in a 2-on-1, Gintroid has to play his life. He's just got to play time. Oh, Gintroid's behind him. Gintroid, no, he gets burned. Vikol wins the gunfight. 2 up, all down. 7 seconds, but it's all good. Ultra Academy get game 2. Ooh, Vikol turns and burns on him. Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Ultra Academy, my god. Clinical.
And that's just it. I feel like if something is working, if it's not broke, like, you know, if it keeps working, don't change it. If it's not broken, don't fix it, right? Is that the saying? As I say it right?
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Becoming mush. Caster brain, right?
Yep.
No, but ultimately, like, yeah, I wrote down some notes there. Like, every single round, Ultra Academy just capitalizing for that retake, working that B site. Obviously, Vikol playing their life. Every single one of the members of Ultra Academy played correctly, played for those trades, and baited each other so well.
I think you called it perfectly. You said, you know, that they're holding their position. patiently waiting for their opportunity. They're repositioning, and they're relying on one another to make those challenges. I mean, Viku working his way up towards P5, wins that gunfight in front of Fire, then moves in position to help his teammate defuse the bomb. And it sounds like those are very small, simple things to do. But Hixie overextending and Viku being in a position to immediately trade is no like fluke of the circumstance. It very much was reliant on Hixie winning that gunfight in the back. He takes out Phantoms. All of a sudden, things become a lot easier to rotate through. It seems like there's always a step for Ultra Academy. It's methodical. For UYU, certainly plenty of opportunities where they shined in this S&D, but putting it all together, Ultra Academy just seemed to have an answer for these setups.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, even Vikul getting around these lanes, like working that dock side, I think one round he snuck through. And yeah, there was just a couple of interesting challenges from UYU that I didn't necessarily agree with. I just felt like some positions they made it a lot harder for themselves, right?
Sure.
And it's tough. Again, when you got Vikul streaking out, playing sneaky, valuing his life better, but I just very clinical, very textbook, very good from Ultra Academy, just playing the way that they needed to do. And yeah, I mean, look at that stat line across the board: 7-4, 7-4 from both Scrap and Hixie. Vikul 8-5. Mohawk doing his thing and doing what he needs to do. But look at the assists. Not a single assist from UYU.
Wow.
And look at Ultra Academies.
That's
10.
You don't see that often. That's nuts.
I can't believe it.
It's like watching me play League play, dude. Oh my god.
In search and destroy, guys. I know this is not right. Something's off.
I mean, Ellen, look at Ultra Academy's non-traded kills right there. 3, 4, 5, 6. That's all you got to know about the assist side, right? Like, they're getting their kills, they're staying alive. That was the way the Hardpoint went in Bocage. It's the way it went in Berlin for S&D. For Tuscan Control, the subs have the same role. Get into the mix of the action, cause as much panic as possible, and do what subs do best, apply pressure. They've been able to do it in the first 2 maps. If Hixie keeps playing this way and Vikul is playing the way he is, you're telling me I have to rely on Mohawk to just be an AR? Okay. Tuscan Control is going to be a very dangerous map in this series. UIU on series point.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, if Mohawk's in a position where he's just chilling, I'm scared. That's like, wow. It's like he doesn't even really need to like go crazy. You know what I'm saying? But no, I no disrespect to UIU. They're still a very, very good team. That's why I'm like, something's off. But in terms of control, yes, stat line wise, Ultra Academy 3-1. Essentially, they only lost to Tuscan once. They took it 1-1, but UIU only essentially lost it once. And then, you know, Gav was their money map.
Yeah.
Right. So if we make it to that, UYU, obviously they need to win this to not get 3-0'd. But if they win, if UYU takes this, there is potential of them taking the Gavutu and then taking it to the map 5. But that's the key. They have to win this.
Yep.
How you gotta shut down all members of Ultra. But I would say the main X factor right now in this series that has been sneaking up and setting up play for the squad, obviously Hixie's been slaying out of his mind.
Yeah.
But for me, it's Vikul. Vikul has been that player, setting up on rotations in Bocage, getting those key important kills. Hixie playing out of his mind, pushing out and keeping that aggression. But Vikul, he's been slipping through the net so many times to get those opening breaks. Did it in Search, did it in Hardpoint.
Well, in Hardpoint, Scrappy was one of those players that just took over the game when needed. He could probably do the same thing in this control. On to Tuscan we go. Scrappy, a player who went from top 12 finishes to a second place finish in Season 1 playoffs with UYU, now playing his old roster and showing that even with the falters on this new squad, he is still just as good. Now we go to a Tuscan Control in Game 3 of this series where currently Ultra Academy sit 2-0 against UYU. For UYU, they have to play cleaner. They have to play together. I know we have beaten that into the ground. We'll do it every single time we need to, but I mean, this team is way too talented to get 3-0'd, and we could certainly see them turn it around, but it will come down to the subs early on. The first battle won by Ultra Academy.
Indeed it is, but Dylan Rex on the point does answer back. Problem is, well, you got Ultra that kind of has you pinned down into that position at the corner of the map, Attack Ivy. You got number 8, Vehicle, sneaking around again, slipping around in lanes, but at least UIU is aware of it, turned around, are able to take him down. So as they do get this cap at A very fast, very convincingly. They have 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
Yeah.
To capture B.
And they got a lot of time. And what this does more so than just putting extra opportunities on the board is it allows for your subs to try and fail a couple of times, right? How many hits does it take? And more importantly, where do our subs excel at, right? Is it through the hardpoint itself? Is it working towards the patio? Can we get in towards top church? That's the question. Johnny has help from Jintroid. So already the MP40 starting to light it up. UIU finding 2 kills, but responding from the Ultra Academy, it will be. A minute 46 to go. A lot of time and a lot of lives to get through. So far, nobody into the point.
And that's the key here, Sean, is push out patio. You're going to have to do that. Whether you want to capture B, I mean, well, essentially capturing, like you said, working that green side and working around like Ivy and back church. But ultimately, if Ultra Academy keep control of radio and patio, this is going to be very hard to take if you're UIU, despite having those back spawns. So doing damage towards the middle of the map, you see Ultra there and Vehicle kind of rotating back, does get the kill onto Dylan Rex. But again, now look what the spawns are happening. Even though Phantoms is on this grass side, his team are still getting singled out and isolated by all members of Ultra Academy, because what are they doing? They're in positions in each lane to trade each other out. So all they need to do is just keep pushing forward and pushing them back. UIU, they have 53 seconds left to capture this. This is going to be very hard if Ultra keep this up.
We've gone from a minute 40 to 48 seconds. 60 seconds killed off the clock. That's a full control point. And Hixie on your screen's only had 8 engagements, but doesn't always need that much. Dylan Rex and Vehicle, but Vehicle will yet again win the opening engagement. Even though he gets traded, life advantage to Ultra Academy, but break in front of UIU. It's Jintroid for 2. Now the push down the stairs. Johnny walks away with the win. Does anybody get onto the point? Well, Johnny's going to have to work through those back spawns, and he has numbers up in front for Ultra Academy. They will deal with the pressure, but the people inside the point matter most. UIU finally get onto the B.
Realistically, Scrap is going to be the one to break this as he rotates through radio, and he did manage to get a couple off, and there's only 20 seconds left, and the lives 5-5. So now Johnny's going to be really important. Does able to take down 1, but look at where Ultra Academy is set up. Mohawk is looking in the back, and now the chase in from Johnny. Bottom church, he does spot 1, but Scrap spots him and turns. Now 7 seconds left. Sean, 4 versus 4, search and destroy. There's 5 seconds. They have to go now. UIU flood onto the point, but still Scrap goes huge with the 2. And I don't think, though. Thank you very much, Ultra Academy. Take that. I think they were convincingly in control the whole entire time, if I might say.
Yeah, and think about this, right, Ellen? Like, you got 4 seconds, and it's a 4v4. So there is nothing that UIU can do except jump onto the point to stop the clock. At that point, you have a lot of time if you're Ultra Academy just to play search. You can just wait.
Yes.
They can work on that second tick. They can get a bit of progression, because all you have to do is kill 4 people. So you can figure out who's on the point, who's on the outside, where do I need to be. They played that perfectly, and UIU did everything correct. Ultra Academy were just on the defensive end. So they had an easier time of figuring out where numbers were early on the opening pick. It is UIU on the defensive side who find that first blood, but already over to B. I like the pressure from Ultra Academy, changing it up in round 2.
Indeed, and I love the plays. Now look at, they're all stacked onto the B point, and we know this is the hardest site to capture. So already 2 ticks of progress do come in contact, and Vehicle almost able to secure it. Dylan Rex makes the stop, but now the close spawn back Ivy at A, and already that is a good position if you're Ultra Academy, because we know, Sean, that it's so much easier to capture A than it is B, and they already have 2 ticks over at B and already working A.
I mean, they get 1 extra kill on B, and I'm just sitting here saying, please make it stop, because all of a sudden they have another minute on the board. They just have to work on A. Now, granted, UIU do get rid of that bit of progression on B, so it's still going to take a bit of work for Ultra Academy to pull this one out, but oh my god, they're all running up the stairs, and Mohawk gets a team kill out of it, so all of a sudden, net 0 on the entire play, but still, Johnny has to play his life here. You don't want to give up any extra numbers than you need to, 24-18, and you can start to split Ultra Academy away from the respective bases and pick them apart at range like Johnny is doing now. And even with that burn from Vehicle, enough of the damage is done. They haven't put a lot of progress over to A. They're still working on that second bit of progression, but they have to commit the resources somewhere. Ellen, they're losing the lives and they're losing positioning in bottom church.
No, indeed they are, but still Scrap might be able to do something if at least Mohawk can get close to the point, and I think that might have done the job. So still, even though the live advantage is kind of running away, they have plenty of time to work this. And if we know Ultra Academy, there is the patience that they display. Hixie waiting patiently. Does fall from Jintroid, but Scrap with the challenge. Not expecting to trade, but still. Now Vikol switches with Hixie and waits because, again, they have 1 minute and 20 left. They can't let lives go too crazy, and they gotta wait for each other. So the Flood's gonna come on through the front, and that is the focus. We need patio.
Everybody getting a piece of the action. Here come the nades. We're playing it like it's a hard point, but it's 14 advantage to UYU. 9 for Ultra Academy. You do have a streak, but you probably don't want to use it here. 59 seconds to go. And look at the spread right now. Player number 3, that's Johnny. He's far pushed out. And he's basically the first line of defense to stop Ultra Academy from trying to make their way to the point, but they're triple stacking. They really have no way to get through. Dylan Rex can't get pulled off the heady. Johnny through the back, and he finds 1. He finds 2. Johnny can't find the 3rd, but Hixie has to stay alive. Jintroid now comes in for the cleanup. Surely this is UYU's round. I say that, but hold on. 11-6. Now make it 11-5. UYU on defense are very, very good.
Oh, yeah. Jintroid, I was going to say, that was scary, but still, 4 lives remain, 24 seconds left. And this is pretty much ultimately the last push. There's only 3 members left. I mean, you got to clear it. At least maybe get 1 wipe. Hixie at least able to get 1, but this is going to be hard. Got to do it. You got to fly. Got Dylan Rex. Oh, my gosh. They can easily do it if they pick off 1 by 1. That is at least 2 down for Jintroid. So, yeah, not able to. Mohawk going to fly on in. UIU still able to take a round. Very, very, very good opening break from Ultra Academy and very good stop from Johnny. I mean, right there at the end, I feel like that pinch that he played there on that radio side, that ultimately is what saved the round, because him and Phantoms went huge right there just in the last 30 seconds.
If I remember correctly, Glide Bomb is the only one allowed. Everything else G8. So that would make sense why they haven't used it.
Well, I know in terms of GA, like NA and EU, they kind of did some different things differently. Like NA didn't ban first season, like the streak, but I don't know. Either which way, same matching the aggression. You see Johnny still continuing. UIU decide to push B this time. Just as fast, may be able to secure a ticket progression, but not before Scrap has anything to say about it. Make it 3. Okay. Not only did UIU push B and had 3 down right away, but Ultra Academy answered that back, and UIU didn't get a tick at B. So that was basically all for nothing, and you lost lives.
Yeah, you lose lives. Vehicles roaming. He loses that, but Scrap's on a 4 spree. So if we ever do get to the discussion of a Glide Bomb, surely it would help to break open a point, but the patience right now from UYU to not overcommit on any extra challenges as Hixie gets into position to potentially take out Phantoms, and with that, maybe you peel Jintroid out of his spot and then he gets cleaned up from top church. That essentially is the play for Ultra Academy. Here comes Hixie around the bend, and Hixie wins it. That's 4 dead. That is a huge wipe. Ultra Academy with the life lead. More importantly, they're keeping UYU trapped back in their spawn.
Yeah, that was huge. Again, Vikol just sneaking around in those lanes, and now Mohawk has 3 members of UIU coming in contact, but still for the trade, Vikol. He's gonna wait patiently. Wow. Oh, does get traded out, but now Scrap. UIU, how are they going to answer this? They have to flood onto the patio side, and of course they have to be careful with those lives, but dwindling down for Ultra Academy. Dylan Rex popping off in the front. This could be dangerous now for Ultra, being trapped back church. Johnny on the point, gonna dance around and hopefully maybe get the second tick or progression.
Yeah, the nice thing is that you have close spawns there for Ultra, but the scary thing is that you're losing B very quickly. They already got the second tick. They're working on the 3rd. Dylan Rex at top patio. He just lets players run into his line of sight, but as long as there's fire there, you still work on that second tick. Make it the 3rd. They're almost done with this. They have to get into contest. Scrap wins a massive one-on-one every single time. You think this game's about to get put out of reach or neither round. It's Scrap who steps up with a 2-piece, a 3-piece even. Hixie trying to work through those back spawns again on an overextended push. If he takes out Dylan Rex, you take out that back AR, and that COD timing could not work out any worse. Vikol still alive. Ultra Academy just trying to play it scrappy and pull numbers off the point.
Oh, man. Vico, yeah, such a great job at repositioning, but still 2 members of UIU are going to flood that patio side, and Mohawk does a great job shooting, nading, but overall, Phantoms does get the nade off, and still 40 seconds left. 1 tick in, and Scrap with a huge patient plays now on a 5 spree, and the live favoring still over for Ultra Academy now. Dylan gonna flood in from the top, gets tagged up, but still, Scrap, 6 objective kills, 6 streak right now. He is saving the time every single time that UIU try to push in. 20 seconds left.
1 kill, he gets a glide bomb. This becomes dangerous on the offensive round. There it is. It's Jintroid and Dylan Rex trying to get their butts into the point, but they just can't. 6 to 5. Wait a minute. The break's there. Johnny gets 3. They're onto the point. No one's around. Johnny gets 3 and they get onto the point. UIU switch things around. All of a sudden, they get a flurry of kills. What looked like was a surefire win on defense. Toronto Ultra couldn't get anywhere close to B. And UIU chain a couple of kills together. They get onto the point. They get the break. And they get the round. What just happened?
That happened so fast, but that's really all they needed. Johnny 3 streaked right there at the end. Jintroid picked up 1, and then so did Dylan. So realistically, yeah, everybody just kind of won their ones there. Johnny already again with the opening break, and now Jintroid to follow. So Ultra Academy still aggressive plays at A, and Phantoms last alive in that top fire area. So can make a stop, top church, and my God, yeah, Hixie takes him down. So Ultra Academy getting that first tick of progress at A, and Scrap looking already to set up in church and make damage at B.
Obviously, Ultra have to win this round if they want to keep this control alive, but you'd more than love to win this, get it to an OT, and then get to use that glide bomb. Hixie, 2 spree. Oh, he's snapping, dude. Hixie woke up. Hixie's here, 22 and 23. Spawn's still there in the back. It's Jintroid trying to work his way into the mix of things, but all purple in the kill feed. Hixie for 3. Hixie potentially for 4. He's just aiming onto people.
And although, okay, they got a tick at each site.
Oh my God.
Hixie being annoying does play beneficial because now Ultra's leading in lives. Sometimes the play is here is if you can't get a like I said earlier, if you can't get a point, just play for those kills. Play to slay. Regardless, Scrap now kind of just doing that. Everybody, Johnny just holding this patio side. We know this is important. He knows that at least there's one player out. He might catch him off guard. He does get the kill on the Mohawk, so that opens up to at least isolate Ultra Academy in the back. But still, Dylan Rex pushing through the front does get taken down, and now that second tick of progress at A does get captured. 47 seconds left, at least with the clock stop. It's looking like a cap here, Sean, and at least enough time for Ultra, maybe. If Jintroid could stop this. Now.
Wow. Well, here's the thing
now.
45
for B.
Like, if you're Ultra Academy, obviously you needed A, and that was a big win by Hixie, but no dumb deaths from this point out. You can't... Hixie! What are you doing, brother? Hey, finish your food! It's on your plate. You gotta finish your food, brother. No dumb deaths. We just talked about it. 12v12. Here comes the glide bomb. All of a sudden, Ultra Academy getting a little bit panicky, and we're investing a lot into this. It connects with nothing. Oh, God. A minute 15 to go, Ellen. Things have divulged into chaos.
Yes, and that's exactly what can't happen. But look at this. Johnny popping off right now with MP40 in hand. That's what we said. You set up Johnny. He's going to absolutely go off. You want him to get those cuts. But still, Scrap aware of it. Searching for him. Phantoms still trying to help out his teammate. Ultra Academy ultimately clear out house, and Phantoms now left alive alone. He's got to back away. Jintroid there, and he does reposition from Phantoms, able to pick up 2, and now he's on a 5 spree. So that was huge for UIU. Now there's only 3 lives left for Ultra Academy. Make it 2. Oh, this is done and dusted. Sean, UIU.
Wow.
Now.
Hixie's blunder was not the catalyst, but how quickly this just fell apart. They had a life counter at 12 apiece. They had a streak. They lose both. Nothing gets used in the investment. UIU, 2 rounds back to back. Swing a defense, swing an offense, when it looked like it should have been the other way around. They stay alive in this series. I mean, if that is the catalyst for how this series gets to a game 5, I am kicking myself if I am Ultra. That is a heartbreaking loss, but that is just credit to UIU. The resolve, the poise, the way that they flipped those last 2 rounds, Ellen. I mean, that was just nuts.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, I give a huge credit to Johnny. Like, he made such important plays that back church area, just even the round before, and just opening up patio. And ultimately, yeah, it just seemed like Ultra Academy was in the driving seat the whole entire time, streaking out. But those important kills from Dylan, playing so well to pick up the trades. And of course, like, God, 2-piece after 2-piece after 2-piece right there at the end.
Hixie was just beaming, and I'm thinking, okay, all of a sudden Ultra Academy's come online with the subs, and they're going to be able to send this to an OT. They have a streak they can use. Great. But the resolve and the resilience from UIU to never falter, to never get pushed back, and constantly fight for every single scrap at the 50-yard line. I mean, Phantoms this is what Phantoms does. When you have to rely on him to close out a game, when the game is in the waning moments, whatever you want to call it, I don't care. Phantoms, he clutches up. He gets you the necessary kills. Those final 2 really put the nail in the coffin. Phantoms 28 and 25, 31 and 24. Ellen, you talked about Johnny. He was insane.
Insane. And I mean, you mentioned Phantoms too. What about that kill back in grass area by church, right there at the end? I don't know what happened there. Like, Hicks, like you said, finish your food, Hixie. What happened? Like, that one kill, could that have made a difference? I don't know. Gotta go back and see what as terms of spawns go. But Phantoms played his life twice right there at the end. And that just was huge. 1 or 2 kills swinging that momentum, but able to just even get a kill and just run away, get into radio, and just wait patiently for the push to come in. They started to do exactly what Ultra Academy was doing, repositioning and setting yourself up in a better, essentially a better gunfight to take it. They did that. Johnny on the pinch. Johnny basically was Vehicle this map.
Yeah.
Vehicle did such a good job at just getting through those lanes, and then Johnny did that. Dylan able to follow up with trades, and Jinchoid, of course, valuing his life in certain situations. Maybe not, as much as engagements as Johnny per se, but he was there for support, and that's what mattered. UIU close out 3-1, and yeah. What are you thinking about Gavutu Hardpoint now?
I was just going to say, it always comes down to Gavutu. Every single time, whether it's control, whether it's the hardpoint, for UIU, they have to continue the pressure they had, and really it came down to a lot of those key final extra pushes, the extra kills from Johnny. I mean, Johnny's 3-piece basically sealed that final round, but like those pushes where they're able to extend their life onto the point and then translate that and convert that into 3 or 4 kills. What that did in control did numbers. What that can do in hardpoint could give you 10, 20 extra seconds. Like, they have to find a way to convert those extra last second pushes into those key kills. They can do that. They can rally up a couple of chunks of time and push some hills together. All of a sudden, you're looking at a very different result from that game 1. What was a 2-0 lead for Ultra Academy in the start of this series very quickly became the UIU show, and they just showed out in that control. Now Gavutu Hardpoint, which could be the last map of the series and the night, or could be sending us to a game 5. Ellen, I'm not going to ask you predictions. I'm just going to ask you, what are you feeling right now after just watching that control? What is the resonance pattern of UIU, of Ultra Academy? What is that tangible thing that you can talk about?
I think that in terms of Gavutu, okay, so UIU essentially took that. Tuscan's more essentially debatable, like more of like a sub map, I would say. Gavutu's more of like an AR map.
Sure.
And first map around, it was the ARs, it was the subs of Ultra Academy, but we've seen how well the ARs essentially, and like on map 2, just overall, how well that they're playing from both teams. So in terms of that, it's like, it's
Bocage and Gavutu, very different.
Ultra Academy has taken it more, essentially, on Gavutu. Like, they won it twice, and I think it's 1-1 for UAU, but ultimately, it's like, can you shut down the ARs of Ultra Academy? Because they consistently, across the board, ARs or subs, have been playing consistent this whole series.
Yeah.
Right? So if you could do that, you could take it, and this would be the map to do it on, because we know UIU is a good Gavutu team, in terms of and overall across the board. But excuse me, I was saying control. I don't know why I was saying control. Hardpoint.
They're a good control team too.
You just let me do that. Yeah, I mean, good control team too as well. Gavutu's the map, regardless.
I was nodding along like you're spitting
only
facts.
Two control maps, man.
Listen, I was nodding along like you were spitting facts, and you were, because they were a good control team because they just won. But Bocage and Gavutu, very different hardpoint maps. We know how these usually play out, and of course the subs are going to be important in the middle of the map trying to fill up those lanes to get those transitional kills. But for the ARs, they're going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting towards the boat side, towards that P4, and this is where the subs can make the most of their money. So far, so good for UIU. The opening 30 seconds go their way, the opening hardpoint as well, and we'll see what happens going into P2.
Yeah, and P2, you mentioned those rotations. It's Ultra Academy who are set up, so Hixie working his way around this back green area could do some damage. But look at the setup from Ultra Academy. Set up P3, set up on the boat. They do get wiped out, but there's no one there from UIU. So ultimately able to slay around the point. Vehicle does fall. And now from the green side, it's UIU flooding in, but ultimately no teams are really getting any time. Ultra Academy doesn't even have a second on the board. So although they have the rotations, they're not getting the time. Now getting the time, it's Johnny there for the stop, and UIU is kind of has a pinch around the hill.
And they're not getting it till, what, 30 seconds to go in the hard point? So you're not getting the opening break, the opening chunk of time. Certainly you could play off scrap, there's no question. But at this moment, UIU more than happy to take that last 20, and we will hit the rotation. So look at the top side of your minimap. Early on, it's Hixie winning the initial in transition. So far for Phantoms, he can't find the angle around the tank. And as Johnny sits in and soaks up the last 10 seconds, a very quality start in the first two hills. UIU taking the momentum they had at the end of the control and converting it into a quality lead right now. 70-ish points and counting. This has been a very good start. UIU desperately needed this going into Game 4.
Indeed they did. And keep in mind, even though that Ultra Academy, okay, they had rotations for P2 and they only got 7 seconds.
Yep.
They have rotations for P3, which is important. So even if they chalk that, if they can hold these two hills, which are essentially money hills, they can get back into the lead, but still, you got to get the kills. So getting slayed off the point, it's Phantoms obviously on a 3 streak right now. 9 and 4, by the way, gets the kills from the front, secures the time, and UIU has the rotation. So now with 25 seconds left, it's Ultra Academy that's on the other end of that barrel. They're going to have to look to break.
Well, if we move to the beachfront and then out to P4, our minds start to go to those ARs. Phantoms at 9 and 5, Mohawk at 8 and 6, but Phantoms with 45 seconds, and he's found a couple of crucial kills to break open these hills. And more importantly, UIU have fed off of that initial time up to a 40-point lead. It's Vikul showing shots out towards the boat, but Phantoms will win the gunfight again. That's 2 in a row for that AR, and we've talked about the parallel matchup going into this series. So far into Game 4, it is UIU walking away with that lead and the advantage because of what Phantoms brings. 11 and 5 for him. Scrap trying to work into P4. He's got Jintroid in front. He's got teammates for support. Not too bad.
That's a good break there from you. From Ultra Academy. Okay. 35 seconds left. That's good. That's good time. But still, the kills aren't really necessarily coming in. Phantoms, obviously, again, doing a very, very good job of slaying out. Certain challenges I wasn't sure if I agreed with, at least in terms of equal, that P1. But still, UIU now flip the script again and have control of the scrap time. So 105 to 59, it's those rotational kills that are important, and this is really, really where we're going to look at Phantoms. And again, he's securing the time, he's securing the rotation kills, and it's Dylan Rex there, first one leading the charge onto the point.
I mean, what's worked for UIU so far has been the ARs winning the battles on the outside, and they have never let Ultra Academy get a full clean hit towards the point. Consistently winning the trades inside the hill. To the next hard point we go, to P5 on our first rotation. 125 to 59, Johnny working through the back. He'll catch Mohawk, but that's all said and done after that. Phantoms, yet again, still staying alive. Phantoms, yet again, still burning onto scrap. UIU riding off the coattails of Phantom's performance so far. Jintroid has to turn things around at 5 and 13. Automaton in hand, Scrap on the outside of the hard point, and Scrap will take him down. 125 to 63. Ultra Academy finally get themselves inside the hill.
Well, kind of. Now the kills, Dylan Rex actually able to clear them off the point. I was going to say, like, that's just it. Getting these kills are important, and it just, even though sometimes Ultra Academy is set up, they're just not getting those kills. Johnny on the flank does manage to get that kill onto Scrap, so that's 2 down. And now the pinch comes in from Phantoms, but Johnny's still streaking out now. 4 streak, make it 5. 16 and 8. It's UIU just like that, getting the kills, getting the control, getting the hill, and Ultra Academy gonna have to answer back. But we already know, Sean, this is of course Scrappy Hill.
Yeah, you're going to get heavily contested on this one. Back to our second rotation. Ellen, if there was ever a time to win a hold of the gun, now it certainly would be here. With 30 seconds to go, you talk about building back into the lead and cutting down that deficit 140 to 81. Ultra Academy have to turn things around starting here. And with Scrap being able to pick up that kill and Johnny now working towards the lower beach side, you look at a potential chance to cut into that dent. Great eyes from Vehicle to spot towards the left corner. And we look at that rotation. Last time it was UIU who got in for, what, 60 seconds? They were uncontested. Ultra Academy have to do a better job this time.
Yes, indeed they do. And so does both teams, essentially. But looking to slay around the point, it's Hixie who's actually starting to turn up now. 12 and 14, not having the best game, but he is streaking out 2 streak. Just going to hold the angles, hold the point. UIU has a 2-2 split, 1 through middle, 2 through green. Vehicle, though, gonna look to disrupt this. He's kind of holding down the back tower side, thinking about that rotation. He's gonna rotate over, picking up that lane. We know P1 is so important for this next hill, so as Hixie kind of fights off green and maybe clear off the time, that's gonna be the name of the game. You don't want UIU to run away with the scrap time, but closing in on, getting very, very close to that 200-point mark.
Yep.
If Ultra Academy, again, Vehicle's huge here, secure this. That's 5 streak now. Can you get your streaks? But if they manage to secure again this rotation to this beach side, they can hold the next 2. They can get back in.
Well, Vehicle's position at green was actually the correct place for him to be, but because no one crossed through mid and the subs didn't get any pressure to keep those spawns a little bit fluctuated for UIU, he had to call an audible and rotate towards the gun. At that point, Ultra Academy needed to press on the subs and say, you need to get into the hill and contest so Vehicle can do the job with the AR and kill players on the outside. It just has not been a full front effort. The subs have struggled. Hixie at 13 and 17, Scrap at 18 and 21. That small instance of Vehicle's rotation came down to the subs not doing their job. And you can see the response from UIU, what they've been able to find. How many kills in a row was that? 200 points to 135. They're not going to win it on this hill, but they might win it on P4, and that's the scary thing. We could be going to Game 5 right here. UIU in a prime position to continue to rally away with this game.
Indeed, and like you said, already set up, it's Johnny. Like, he's been doing a fantastic job on this map, just rotating from lane to lane, whether picking, like, switching in between an AR and a sub, depending on the hill. Like, he's been doing a fantastic job at that, but still, now Ultra Academy do get those rotational kills, and it's Hixie last alive. But if you take a look, it's Phantoms alive at the beach side. So now this is kind of troublesome because Jintroid is actually back LST ship. So Ultra Academy does get pinched and spawn out. The last one alive is Mohawk. So can he get maybe a kill or 2? That would be huge. Does manage to get 1, but there it's UIU for the trades. Wow. And just a beautiful break.
Wow, they just walked their way in, and I'm thinking, okay, if Vehicle's able to win that foot race over to the point, maybe you stack 2 and hope for a prayer that you get numbers inside, but UIU just walked their way into the hard point every single time. Jintroid is just lighting up Ultra Academy. He's going to continue to put points on the board. I mean, we're potentially looking at one more hill. I don't think they're going to win it here. They will not. You'll be down by 5, but even with that, he's 1 kill away from a glide bomb. This just secures the game. UIU turned up at the end of the control. All of a sudden, they're into the hard point. They're smoking Ultra Academy. 1 more hill is all that's needed. Ultra will be there first, but Ultra needs 60 seconds and then some to potentially get back in this game.
I mean, it's still very doable if they can zone out. Scrap is huge here, but of course the streaks come in. I mean, you mentioned Jintroid needed to step it up, and that's ultimately what happened. He started slaying. Streak comes in, now the push comes in through the front, and that's really all that needs to be done. Now that forces Ultra to funnel in through 1 lane, and UIU does have control, so now Phantom's last alive does secure it, and UIU in the driving seat on that Gavutu. This was the map that we didn't want to get to, Sean. We're going to a map 5.
I don't know what happened to UIU between the S&D and the control. I don't know what happened to them between control round 1 and 2. the hardest regain has been hit. Like, they slammed a regain button through their desk because all of a sudden they turn it around in the control thanks to Johnny. They turn it around in the hard point. I'm sitting here I'm just sitting here like not stunned, but just like this is a full 180. And for Ultra Academy, they were up 2-0. You were up 2-0 and it were in a very good position to win that control. And all of a sudden you're looking at a game 5. Like, this has gone from good to catastrophic in a matter of 10 minutes. And
it's happened again. That's what's crazy. Like, I mean, haven't we seen this before?
I feel like we've seen this before.
I was gonna say a little bit deja vu, but I will say something. UYU. You did not want to take them to this map. Because what did I say? I said, if you get UYU, if you lose the Tuscan control and you get UYU on Gavutu, possibly go into a map 5 because they're just so damn good at this map. And you're right. Johnny is a big factor of that. Maybe in the beginning there was a little bit of struggles, but it was Jinchoid that picked it up and made it a lot easier. Look at that. Jinchoid had essentially the worst KD, but the highest streak. So if you got a player even that's not performing the best and you're still doing well, that's scary. At least in terms of Gavutu, that's scary.
Yeah.
If they could do that, recipe on all of the maps, again, scary.
Well, for UYU to start hitting kind of their mid-season form late in a series like this at this stage in week 2, yeah, that's scary for a lot of people. And this was never the question for UYU. We knew that they were capable of this kind of play. It was just about being consistent. At the end of the day, could you do this in a 3-0 fashion? Could you do it early in a series, or did we have to force it to game 5? So far, it's been the latter, but even with that, they look like they have figured out the recipe for Ultra Academy in the series, and they're going to a game 5 because of it. 30-17 for Johnny, 31-18. I mean, clearly Phantoms won the AR battle. Mohawk had a very rough game, no shade on his part, but Phantoms 31-18 on control. 25 untraded kills. Phantoms is that good. I feel like we've forgotten how good of a player Phantoms has been because he kind of got sidelined when he was in Black Ops 4 and put on some weird teams, and he hasn't been able to get back up to the CDL in a while. Phantoms is still one of the best ARs in North America in Challengers, and any CDL team should probably be looking his direction because the dude just knows how to clutch up.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, Phantoms, again, you mentioned UT Crew. What a throwback.
Yeah.
Because, like, that, again, I've been seeing this guy play for years. All of them, essentially. And, yeah, he does have that ability to clutch up. He's always been a really, really good, in terms of anchoring roles, like, not squad spawning. But, yeah, he's always been just a really good, adaptable player all around. And he applies that in Search, so that's kind of scary, even just playing a player like him on Search and Destroy, because it's those patient plays that matter. So in terms of that, if you want to look though, Ultra Academy did 6-2 first time around in Berlin. They as a team were playing very, very patient and very, very well, trading and baiting each other out. So this is essentially a clean series for me. This is just a one and done.
Yeah, that's what it is now. Yeah, absolutely. This is literally a one and done. And UYU have all the momentum. They have all the reason in the world to believe that they can pull this one out. And whether it's the AR matchup, whether it's the sub-parallel, whatever we want to talk about, however deep we want to get into the micro of the matchup between these two teams, sometimes all you need is the eyeball test. Sometimes all you need is just who looks better in the moment. Ultra Academy had everything figured out. And then we have seen a collapse in the control 2 rounds in a row. And we saw a collapse in the hard point where they struggled just to hold. They struggled to turn the tides. UYU, on the eyeball test right now, Ellen, there is not a single reason I should not expect them to have something figured out in the early game in this S&D. Like, they could very easily come in here and go up 3-0 quickly. They look that good, and it seemed like all of the worries and all of the inconsistencies and the uncertainties that have been plaguing this team showed up in the control. They fixed it within a round, and they have not looked back since.
Yeah, I agree with you, but honestly,
then again, Castro
on the other side of it for Ultra Academy, I'm looking at Scrappy, man.
Oh, yeah.
First blood picks, KD wise, across the board, the man is a beast. So
yeah,
if he can find a way to get those opening picks, even Mohawk,
Vico untraded,
they can take it here, but see if they can do it. Scrap opening with that sniper. It's Jinchoid with the first blood, though. Oh, it's down.
Bottom map of the night. Thank you for joining us on North America. This has been a hell of a series, and Hixie with a hell of a read there. But going to Game 5, Ultra Academy UIU. The last match on the mainstream tonight, as Johnny will punish V-Cool for the over challenge. Level up at 2 apiece. Phantoms gets the read through Church. What a read it will be. Phantoms again, AR in hand. Essentially good for a kill or two in S&D. And Hixie now has his work cut out for him with bomb in hand.
If he can manage to find a pick. But I think he's just going to decide to go for the plant. Phantom's not ultimately checking to this just yet. Might get that timing. Gets the bomb down.
Big win. I didn't know if he spotted him. Hixie. Does he guess correctly? On the other side, it's Johnny, who has stepped up massively for UIU. I don't think either knows where each other are at, but certainly we're going to run into one another. Playing time. Here comes the challenge. Johnny wins it against Hixie up close. 20 seconds is enough time to defuse UIU. Opening round goes to them.
Yeah, and that was really just it. Hixie didn't really know where he was. I think he was anticipating the trade to come out from Phantoms. And that's ultimately where, where was he? He kind of looked through radio, looked everywhere else, but then ultimately knowing that he was coming through the back. Yeah, that was very huge from Johnny, of course. And shout out to Phantoms, too, of course. Stopping the bleeding through the push through Church. Huge, huge to value his life. Play those weird angles, catch the enemy off guard. So UIU able to take that round. Now we'll see where. Maybe we'll see an aggressive mid push. And Johnny, yes, not if he has something to say about it. He gets stunned. And still working bottom Church. Bomb is at A. Scrap with the first blood, though, on Dylan Rex.
That sniper finally gets utilized early into round number 2. About a $1.9 still left in this one. Hixie with help there. Advantage to Ultra Academy. But Phantom's working to the back. Oh, so sneaky with that AR. Gets snuffed out, but Phantoms wins it regardless. Up close. The dude's insane. And here comes the push. They're just trying to find him. And Mohawk will get the win. Bomb down yet again. UIU on the attacking side, so Johnny has to make a play over here on a 1v2. But, I mean, this is Ultra Academy in position to win this round.
Indeed they are, and I think they're kind of anticipating the push a little bit from Johnny, so they're kind of like waiting because that nade blew up. So Johnny ultimately kind of maybe not sure exactly where these members are. The problem is that the bomb is down. So Johnny has to make a play to get the bomb and get the plant. And all members of Ultra Academy here, of course, are set up to get the pick. So Johnny's going to patiently wait and peek. Not enough. Ultra take that, tying it up to 1-1. Trading rounds. Win an attack.
That was correctly played, too, by both teams. I mean,
indeed.
Post-drop positioning from Ultra Academy. They spread out. They cover both sides. You have someone immediately in fire window to immediately check. You get A lockdown for sure. And for UIU, essentially did all you really could in a 1v2 with where bomb was. We trade around early on. Ultra get it back. Spawn peek. Scrap looking for the opening snipe. Dylan Rex, please peek for the content. We'd love it. Maybe not, but here comes V-Cool for the first blood.
Yep. Bottom Church huge. Dylan Rex does take down Hixie, and Scrap is still there.
Oh.
And the nade, might be able to get a good use of the nade. It does come out and does connect. At least the information is there. And Jintroid, of course, set up for the trade on Dylan. And it's all ultimately Mohawk there to pick up the trade through mid. And still, the bomb is down for Ultra Academy, but at least they have a live advantage. This is their round to take.
Did Phantoms get spotted by V-Cool? That's the question right now. Does he win that gunfight? He did. So if he had known that V-Cool was there, if he at all was able to spot that shoulder and wins that, this round becomes doable. But Jintroid through the back for one. But the positioning for Ultra Academy just made it almost impossible. And now it's just a foot race. Surely they know he's coming up the stairs. They will. Ultra Academy hold the back end secure. 2 rounds in a row.
Yeah, and a lot of that, of course. V-Cool playing it very smart. He had that automaton in hand when he essentially took down a member of UIU up top Church, and then what was it? That was Phantoms. And then, of course, winning that one was huge.
He's pretty good.
And Jintroid, although could have stopped that push there. It's very smart to recognize V-Cool. Huge for that round. 3 streak for him, by the way. It's currently 4-2. So now Ultra Academy do lead up 2-1. Patient plays towards A again. Phantoms looking towards top church, and Dylan Rex does connect. That follows up with the 2. Now Ultra Academy 2 lives.
Wow.
And make that 1. Just like that. Everybody winning their 1 from UIU. Mohawk 1 versus 4.
Yeah, UIU said, we're going to shut this nonsense down. There's no way you're setting up on defense to retake on site. Mohawk from a 4v1 to a 2v1. Okay. Well, he has to defuse. He got 36 seconds. And I love this rotation all the way towards the broken side. Mohawk, oh my god. If he does this... Oh, Mohawk. Oh, Phantoms escapes. Oh, yeah, you know at that point it's toast. That's so frustrating. It was almost doable, but where do you go from here with such little time? You're going to get caught. Valiant effort. Golf claps all around. But UIU survive.
No, it was. Because you know what's crazy about that, Sean? Mohawk looked at Phantoms. Had he gotten that kill,
yeah,
look where he played. He instantly rotated over and picked up grass side, anticipating.
Yep.
So had he gotten that kill, he would have got that pick onto Gintroid. That would have been a crazy clutch for Mohawk. Still. Now we're back to Call of Duty 4 days. Traditional search, 4 rounds.
Best of 1, 4 rounds. Get it done, man.
Exactly. Ultra Academy working that bomb site again towards A. One really favoring B just yet. Vehicle set up in a position in radio. The house gets 2.
And the 3rd and the 4th. Bye-bye.
And the 4th. I just blink. Trading rounds.
Bye-bye.
Just the same fashion as UIU. You get that last round, but the only difference is they didn't have Mohawk on the team. Almost clutching it. Still very convincing UIU vehicle. Huge 2-piece over by P5.
Ellen, you know what's scary? If that 1v4 goes Mohawk's way, which is a sentence we're actually saying, not that he wasn't capable, but if a 1v4 goes his way, which it was very nearly about to, this is a 4-2 game.
Yeah.
That's what's terrifying right now. It's Ultra Academy basically have a 2-round lead. They should be playing that way too, that confident with how well they're doing right now. It's a 4-stack through mid. Here comes, there goes Johnny. Bye-bye. Ixie at 2 and 3. And maybe he knows Phantoms is around. Well, he at least spots the top of his head, and Veek will take care of that. So any nonsense behind, quickly taken out. Gintroid at mid-map. Hixie is just gunning people today. 4v2. He goes away. 3v1. Nice round by Ultra.
Yeah, that was close too if you're Gintroid. Yep, that's it. Ultra isolating every members. That was close too if you're Gintroid because Hixie, obviously beaming back away. Gintroid backed away and was able to at least stay alive, but still just kind of being caught and isolated at A when you have so many points where you can get shot from. You got mid to worry about. You got that top fire broken area to worry about. You got top church to worry about. Back Ivy, the flank, the pushes. It's very hard to capitalize on that. And the fact that Gintroid stayed alive even as long as he did, still amazing stuff. That's what's crazy even about the UIU team. Even though Ultra Academy again seemed kind of throughout the series that they were in the driving seat in terms of slaying power, UIU still doing just as good to counter that. They're very good countering team. So again, now maybe we might see a mid play here. Ultra Academy, they're waiting very patiently for the push. Minute left.
Yep.
See if Hixie can get something.
It's first blood, then chaos. That's how this usually works out. So Hixie finds one. Now we start to move a little bit. Players reposition. Dylan Rex falls back to regroup with his squad, but instead we'll play for time here. 52 seconds to go. And no need to move over to A just yet. Could we see a slow rotation to B? Oh my god, you cheeky boys. But Phantoms might have snuffed it out. I think he did. I think Phantoms knows. Does he know that there's all 4, though? I don't know. That's the question.
Well, he stopped it last time around, but I think Ultra Academy learned their lesson this time. They're like, I'm not going in there. They go all the way around through the back and then work the bomb site. But look at Phantoms crosses over fast and Vehicle's there for the pickup. Ultra Academy is completely set up. This is a perfect hold in my opinion.
That kill from Vico is insane, dude. That just cuts down the defensive retake from UIU. Vico gets all 3 in the round, bro. Give him the MVP. That play from Vico to immediately wait and read for Phantoms be in a position to check bomb or to check that counter strat. He takes out Phantoms, takes out Johnny for the final kill cam. He's 11 and 3. He's 11-3. Like, he immediately knew where he had to be, and he wins Ultra that round. The dude is so good. He is so underrated. We made our top 25 list last year for challengers. I'm pretty sure he made mentally. He is within that range.
I know,
like
he's good.
Like everybody knows the V-Cool is this good. He won a championship with Mavericks, and he has carried that success over to NA. The dude is unreal. Here comes a glide bomb, by the way.
Shriek comes in though. Can it connect? Of course. Johnny gets taken out. So UIUs obviously they get that information where all members of UIU is and. Set up at the bomb site, it's really just about getting a pick. But look at Ultra Academy. 3 members through that P5 side. Phantoms is going to have a lot to work with here. Does take down Scrap, though. And not for the trade. Ultra Academy didn't actually get it.
No, they did not, and they used the streak. So if this does not pan out, what a big round for UIU. And an 8 spree right now for V-Cool. Uh-oh. Oh, you got to win that. But luckily, teammates are there for support. And there goes everybody. Dylan Rex shuts them all down. So here's the interesting thing. UIU bait the streak. They get it used. They lose a member, but they win the round regardless. So if this goes the distance, barring anybody else going on a spree of their own, you don't have to worry about a glide bomb right now. You can continue to play this the same way you have up until this point.
I'm actually in confusion why Ultra Academy didn't win that round. I'm actually like, if I was on that team, I would have been mad because they had first blood and they had the streak. But still, V-Cool's still 12-4. He's still snapping. They get stunned. UIU has the information. Look at this. Look at this flooding.
Oh, this nade.
Coming in.
Oh, that nade's huge, but that win's even bigger from Scrap. Johnny's so weak, he can't afford to challenge, but Hixie might get caught if he overextends. Yes, that's what he happens, but V-Cool's there to trade. 2 versus 2.
Dylan Rex with the sniper. He's going to peek and try to get a little bit of information. Maybe he can get that pick, but V-Cool, of course. 1 versus 2. Dylan gets Mohawk, and there it is for the trade.
Wow.
Phantom setup. Of course. UIU. Round by round.
It's going round 11.
Take it 5-4.
It's going round 11. It's going round 11.
This is getting too scary.
That's, you know what?
Ultra Academy's got to stop playing around.
In the year like 2050, I want school children just to be like singing in a circle like it's going round 11, and nobody knows what it means. Like some weird, scary, like alternate reality future.
Yeah,
just
like
like
I
their
don't get
eyes
it.
turn
No,
their eyes turn
no.
yellow, and they're like, it's going round 11. And you're like, excuse me, whose children are these?
Dylan Rex. I mean, he's
Am I the only
stopping.
one?
Like, he's doing everything is possible right now to stop this, though. 4 streak, by the way.
Uh-oh.
Stopping it. Now he gets the first blood onto Scrap, turning the momentum for UIU. Ultra Academy is essentially all trapped back church right now, and Jinchoi goes in for the trades, and again, V-Cool's last alive in a 1 versus 3.
It's the control all over again. Ultra are choking, man. They have positions. They have the games in their hands, and they're getting outplayed. They're getting outpositioned. They're getting outshot. That's a great, actually. That's a great wall bang. I've seen that before. But, I mean, what do you do? 1v3. It's still entirely possible. We could be looking at around 11. UIU have just melons of steel. The composure these guys have when their backs are against the wall in control in S&D, the momentum they carry from the hard point now into around 11. I'm telling you, with the eye test, I don't understand what has happened in this series. But 1 round to decide it all. Ellen, it's a best of 1 and a best of 1. Okay? It's literally a best of 1, best of 1. It's a best of 1
How do we
squared.
keep going to this?
It's a best of 1
We're
squared.
really on a one and done round.
Wow.
Dylan Rex. Can they put a stop to him? Can Hixie maybe get a pick here?
It's going to come down to the first blood. And Scrap gets it. Wow, that's huge. Nades fly out. Bomb trying to move its way over to A, but Phantoms on the long rotation. He has a sub. He might get traded. Oh my god, Ultra's all here! Ultra's all here, and Hixie wins it! 4 and 7 for Hixie, but 2 first bloods back to back. It's Ultra Academy with the life advantage. What do you do if you're UIU?
Play for picks. You have time, but the problem is like, they all had subs. Believe Jintroid, Phantoms, I mean, Hixie, able to get a kill, but Dylan Yes, go down. This is just, yeah, that was it. Fast. I was questioning that for Phantoms, though. That was rough. You are Ultra Academy all set up at that P5. They've been doing that consistently. So I was just a little bit surprised to see that with an MP40 in his hand, you know, right there. Challenging
maybe
that.
the automaton, maybe like sitting back and like holding a post and trying to catch players as they rotate towards fire, but I was surprised that it was that aggressive. Not so much the overcommitment and not so much the overextension from Phantoms, but more so he was that willing to challenge P5, right? And maybe it was just a victim of circumstance in the play. But Ellen, like, we're thinking this round 11 is going to come down to a pick or two. All of a sudden, it was 2 kills back to back. Ultra Academy have the lead. And as soon as Phantoms goes down, they lost all of the positioning on the map. They were basically pinched into B. Here's your series layout, folks. It was a doozy. We went from a 250 to 165 Ultra Academy stomping on Bocage to another stomping in the Berlin S&D. And we're sitting here thinking, oh my God, this is going to be a 3-0. And UIU clutch up. They clutch up at the control. They clutch up in the hardpoint. And they started doing the same damn thing in the S&D. But in the end, Ultra Academy just found a way to escape chaos, and they win it in around 11.
Yeah, and I mean, realistically, to start that success too for UIU, Phantoms is a big factor in that. Johnny and Phantoms per se, because Johnny obviously popping off in that Tuscan and the Gavutu, but Phantoms locking down those lanes really set the pace. And in that search and destroy, same thing. Ultra Academy going crazy, but what does Phantoms do? He's in positions to stop pushes. So ultimately, yeah, that was crazy across the board. I'm just I wish you guys could have saw my face, because I was like, how is this happening? Like the whole entire time throughout the whole series, it felt like Ultra was just driving. But again, you make a mistake and UIU knows how to capitalize on those moments. So that was a really, really good game again, Sean.
Yeah.
Today was a great day. And it was just absolutely insane stuff. Excited for tomorrow.
That is one of those ends to today's where, like, if we're going to game 5, we got to go the distance, man. Like, it has to be this way. And UIU did not disappoint. However, it's a shame they were losing it in that round 11. There's so much talent on that team, and you can tell they're so close to, like, being able to do what they did in the control and the hard point all the way throughout a series. But credit to Ultra Academy. They won the first 2 maps. They're able to close it out. They do not get reverse swept. So we tip our caps to them. More importantly, we thank you guys for watching today. We have concluded Europe and North America for day number 3 of stage 2 of the Challengers Elite Series. And you don't want to miss the action tomorrow. We're coming back at the same time that you saw today to continue on with Europe and North America. We will move into day 4, and we will see what happens in the end of the second week. We'll see you guys tomorrow.